Russian invasion.
Weapons and ammunition are flowing in daily, and we've seen just how vital our alliances and partnerships are around the world.
A senior U.S. defense official tells CBS News the first of 18 howitzers are en route to Ukraine.
Travelers, don't put away your face masks just yet. The Justice Department says it'll appeal a federal judge's ruling striking down requirements on planes and mass transit this week after the CDC deemed them still necessary. Loyola Law's Lori Levinson.
The CDC believes that they are in the best position to monitor public health conditions and not have an individual judge overrule their decision.
President Biden is sending his administration's first national drug control strategy to Congress. The goal, he says, is harm reduction, preventing deaths and illness, and at the same time, trying to get users into treatment. A wildfire in northern Arizona has tripled in size. APHO's Kim Powell reports from Flagstaff.
Hundreds of people had to be evacuated from the area, leaving behind their belongings, and some said they had to leave behind their animals, and they're all wondering, of course, when can they get back home?
Firefighters say intense winds are making it difficult to get ahead of the flames. Chalk one up for Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and his battle with Disney over a new law limiting lessons on sexual identity in public schools. State lawmakers are expected to pass a measure today, yanking special tax districts for Disney World. Save the company hundreds of millions of dollars. CBS's Peter King is in Orlando.
If the repeal goes through, Orange and Osceola County taxpayers could wind up paying the bill. That could mean higher taxes out of what opponents call spiked.
Netflix stocks hit the skids, falling 35% yesterday after the company reported its first loss of subscribers in more than 10 years. One problem, according to CEO Reed Hastings, too many people sharing passwords.
They love the service. We just got to get paid, some degree for that.
Netflix also proposing a cheaper service with ads. This is CBS News.
There's always something new under the sun. CBS Mornings, weekdays on CBS.
Have you ever thought you'd like to buy and sell houses but didn't know how or where to get the money? My name is Ron LeGrand, and over the past 40 years, I've bought over 3,000 houses without using my money or credit and taught thousands to do the same. Today, even in a virtual environment, we buy nice houses in nice neighborhoods using no banks, realtors, contractors, or other costly entanglements, and build huge cash flow and wealth without the hassle of tenants, all without credit, little or no money. You don't need a license or experience, and I'll show you exactly how it's done. Text FREE to 99799 and I'll send you my free training. I promise I'll change the way you think about real estate and open the door to a new lifestyle that doesn't involve risk or rehab and can quickly replace your current income. Text FREE to 99799 and let me show you how to take your life back and build cash flow and wealth from your home. That's FREE to 99799. Again, text FREE to 99799.
Shaw Bills, where you can get up to $160 with the purchase of 4 eligible Firestone tires. Visit ShawBillsTire.com to learn more. There's not a lot going on in the Baton Rouge area at the moment. No major accidents to report, and not really a lot of congestion either, but it's still early in the morning. About an hour ago, we did have reports of a vehicle fire on I-10 eastbound right at the 1012 split, but apparently that vehicle fire has now been cleared. No lanes of travel are blocked, so you should be all good to go if you're traveling that way. Taking a look at some of our drive times, and again, not a ton of volume on any of our roadways. If you're traveling down I-12, you'll notice a drive time of about 15 minutes, Cuban Road to the 1012 split. And I-10 looks pretty good as well. No volume there at the moment either. It's 15 minutes I-10 westbound from Highland Road to the Mississippi River Bridge. That's the latest from the Guarantee Traffic Channel, where reports are always brought to you by Shaw Bills. I'm Taylor Sharp reporting.
Skies will be partly cloudy and temperatures will be climbing well into the 80s today. If there's a chance for anyone to see 90 degrees, today is the day. Tonight temperatures will be in the low 60s. Friday and Saturday will be near perfect repeats of today with temperatures in the mid-80s, mostly sunny skies, and overnight conditions mostly clear with temperatures in the 60s. An isolated shower or two will be possible on Sunday ahead of our next rainmaker on Monday. Scattered showers will move in Monday afternoon. afternoon, and then temperatures will be slightly cooler heading into next week. I'm meteorologist Marissa Nuzzo in the WBRZ Weather Center.
Six 606 to Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane off and running. Brian here with you. Cade Wazan producing. Cade, I think I have on air coming through my ears and not program. We got it? Cool. What's happening, y'all? Ready to roll on this Thursday. Got Cade Wazan in this morning. Hold it down. Jake still out for a little bit. Patrick Grimion, host of the Patty G Show, going to be by in just a little while. 6:35. We talk business with Patty G every single Thursday. Daniel Erspaner from the Pelican Institute set to give us an update on the legislative session in the 7 o'clock hour, 7:15 to be specific. Lieutenant Don Capola in for Crime Stoppers at 7:35. Jordan Faircloth made the runoff in the race for judge. He's going up against Brad Myers. We talked with Brad Myers Monday. We talked with Jordan Faircloth today. Also, and I'm really looking forward to this one, I've never talked to a White House chef before. That's kind of cool. Andre Rush joins the show at 8:40 this morning. He has served as a White House chef under 4 different presidents. He's also a decorated combat veteran as well, and ridiculous arms. Guy's got like chiseled biceps and whatnot. He does 2,222 push-ups a day. This has nothing to do with being a chef, but it is what it is. Anyway, he's slated to join us before we're done this morning. 8:40 is when we've got him on. Plus, we'll have top stories at Trending, The Outside In, This Day in History. All of it coming your way throughout the show this morning. Cade, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty well.
Getting caught up? Getting reacclimated?
Yeah. It was a tough morning to get up.
Was that?
Well, as I was getting up, the little one occasionally gets up.
Mm-hmm.
Normally not before I go wake her up at about 6:30.
Yeah.
She came into our bedroom this morning, and then so she was up and was like, "Daddy, why you got to leave her?" You know, because I normally take her to school, so she was kind of like, down, and so that got me like, yeah, I'm sorry I can't take you to school. But other than that, it was an easy drive in, as Taylor said.
Isn't it glorious just to have the road all to yourself?
I don't take the interstate ever, and there's reasons for that. Rarely ever, especially on my commute to work. You and I probably have a very similar commute. You can take various other roads, right?
Mm-hmm.
But on mornings like this, when I'll come in and help out, I can check various mobile apps, Google Maps, whatever, and this tends to be the fastest route. Other than taking an Uber or a Lyft, is what they recommended. No. This was the fastest route, so I'll take that. But it's not something I normally do. But when you're cruising through and you get to the merge and there's literally just nothing and you can just go and it's nice.
Yeah, just just cruising right along. Although the construction might do a little bit with something
sure
for that.
It will, yeah.
Yeah. And in fact, in the very near future, we're expecting that to get a lot worse. Hey, you talk about you and I having similar commutes. I come from Sherwood Forest subdivision. You a little bit further up Sherwood, a little bit further south on Sherwood on the other side of the interstate, not all the way to Sherwood Tower.
No.
Which is where earlier in the week a woman was killed.
Yep.
And I want feedback on our YouTube stream this morning. Have you seen the video, or are you going to see the video? Here's the backstory. A woman was killed. She was with a dude, and they were on like a 3-day drug bender, maybe longer than that. And that that binge culminated with him tying her to the steering wheel of the car, using jumper cables, no less, tying her to the steering wheel of the car, choking and stabbing her until she died. Now, he did this on Facebook Live. So you might be thinking, well, Brian, surely Facebook is taking it down. Absolutely. But as we talk about with Haggai Davis so often in the Cup Attack Gumbo, nothing's ever really gone from the internet. And apparently, that's where things led off in The Advocate this morning. Headline reads, he live streamed a killing. Facebook alerted police, deleted the video, but duplicates spread. So what's your feedback? Have you seen it? Do you think you're just going to stumble across it at some point? This would be the latest in what has become the modern version of Faces of Death. Remember Faces of Death? Remember those videos? When I was a kid, at least. They had a number of different VHS tapes of different ways people were dying, and you physically watched people die. And it was absolutely disgusting. This is the modern version of that. I can tell you, I've seen one other one in like personally. Remember that? Wow, I'm trying to remember his name now. Remember that reporter who was beheaded? That one. That was vile and disgusting and awful. Just gruesome from start to finish. Not at all what you thought it was going to be. And now this is going to be out there as well. The death of this woman in a car tied to a steering wheel off Sherwood. Her video's going to be floating around out there. And I can only imagine it'll eventually make the rounds. Facebook did the right thing. They pulled the video down. They alerted authorities. But you knew this was going to happen. One of many nuggets and angles that's going to circulate in the wake of this woman's death. Anyway, let me know on YouTube. Would love to hear your comments. Let's take a break, though. 6:13, Talk 107.3 FM. We are going to check sports as soon as we come back. Patty G is going to be in the house after that. So, quick break coming back on Talk 107.3. Let me go let Patty G in. Oh, man. Oh. Those LRN cuts? All right. We gonna do Hot Take Cade? It doesn't have the same ring as Hot Take Jake. But you ready to roll with it? Good. I suppose he does. Mm-hmm. All right. Renee says, have not seen the video and do not want to see it. Chris Nakamoto said it was very gruesome. Byron Nichols says, I'm too girly to watch real gory videos. Also, I have an alibi for any crimes committed this past week. Byron was in Ireland this week. And I'm hella jealous. Yeah, nope, don't want to see it, says Eric. All right. I'm in the same boat. I don't want to see it. But the thing is, when the link comes across, am I going to click on it? Probably. Oh, I know. Yeah, it's Sherwood Towers across from Newcastle. Newcastle's by that racetrack. What brings up a question about broken windows theory, though. My wife was telling me last night about, so she stopped into Walgreens, and while she's in Walgreens, this dude just walks behind the counter, grabs a bunch of cigarettes, and just leaves. Like, walks behind the counter, grabs the cigarettes, walks right on out. She tells the clerk, she's like, that guy just stole a bunch of cigarettes. And the clerk's like, yeah, he's a crackhead. He does that all the time. Right. Like, if you don't stop him from doing that, he will do something else. And, right. Well, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's colder in here this morning than I thought it would be. I was expecting it to be, like, toasty. No. All right. You said you have those LRN cuts? Okay. 617 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along, getting a little bit of good feedback from folks talking about the video of the woman being stabbed to death. It's going to be making the rounds. And it's a gruesome thing and a very morbid thing to think about to start off your morning. But it's going to be there eventually. If you see the link, are you going to click the link? Plain and simple. All right, sports time at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. LSU spring football practice rolls on. Freshman quarterback Walker Howard is drawing all kinds of attention right now. Very, very highly touted quarterback. Very rare that we get to hear from freshmen from spring practice, but nonetheless, here we are. From Walker Howard's perspective, he is just another freshman trying to adjust to this life away from home, the difference between high school and college competition.
It's kind of rough at first, and it's just all about how you bounce back. And I really feel like I've been really improving after every practice, and that's what it's all about. And I mean, the transition's been awesome. I mean, I've loved every second of it. I mean, it's fun. You have to compete every single day, and that's what I came here to do, compete.
Yes, he did. Now, technically, he's running fourth on the depth chart, but I think everybody kind of has one eye on his overall growth. And not to mention, he developed a very quick relationship, probably back to the recruiting days, maybe even earlier, with one of the offensive linemen in this recruiting class. That's five-star left tackle Will Campbell. Those two committed to LSU in early 2021. Their friendship has grown since. Campbell has wowed in practice with his work ethic, could make a push to join the starting lineup this very season.
He's the best player in the country, and I'm not lying. I mean, look at him. He walked in here. I mean, it just doesn't show on the field, though. I mean, in the rooms, in everything he does, he is the first person to every meeting, first person to every team lift. I mean, first one on the field. I mean, he shows it everywhere he goes. I mean, he's the best.
I told you Howard's running fourth on the depth chart right now. That's with Brennan, Daniels, and Nussmeier ahead of him. He says he had to shift his focus because he's going to get limited on-field reps to moving over to the strength and conditioning and mental aspects of the game as well. It's watching his evolution is just going to be fun. We're afforded an opportunity here where this season is going to be about two parts: what's happening on the field and what's happening for future growth. Here's the Fox Business Report. I ran long in that opening segment, pushing all this back. I don't need those other cuts. We're going to move on. That's funny. Good morning, Christy. I don't even know if my wife's up yet. I hope she is. Good morning. Up and home from the gym. Good morning, sweetheart. Hope you got in a good workout and nobody poached your equipment this morning. Go to the gym, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Creature of habit, right?
Right.
Are there regulars at the gym when you go to the gym?
Yes.
Okay. Everybody kind of understands what equipment not belongs to who, but like we all use the same things, right?
Guys do different workouts every day, so it's different muscle groups every day.
Not with the weights, with the cardio stuff. Like when I go to the gym, okay, at Planet Fatness, like treadmills are wide open. There's like 1,000 of them. Not really the thing on that, but they've got this thing. It's like an elliptical, but it looks a lot more like, I don't know. It's like an elliptical, but it's not. They got the bars coming up, and your feet go in the thing, and your arm, they swing back and forth. It's exactly like an elliptical. Yeah, a little bit. So every day at the exact same time, there are 4 of those machines, and every day that I go there, if I'm there at the same time, the one on the far right and the one on the far left are always in use by the same guy who holds on with one arm and reads from his phone on the other. And on the other end is an older woman who looks like she's way too small to be on anything. But like it's the routine, right? There's 2 do what? Bro, it's supposed to be, but don't judge me for judging, or we'll both be in the wrong. There's also 2 Stairmasters. There are 2 women who are every single day. If I go between like 2 and 3 in the afternoon, I can guarantee you, not like a traditional Stairmaster, like actual climbing stairs Stairmaster. They're going to be on that thing moving at about 1 mile per hour, sweating their butts off, but they're working. They're working hard. I'm not judging them, but like they're working hard, but you know where they're going to be. One is always on the right and one is always on the left. They never swap sides. The 2 people on the elliptical things, they never move which equipment they're going to be on. They're always doing the same thing. So I tell you that to tell you this. Christy goes to the gym on Monday, and somebody's on the elliptical that she's always on. And I'm like, wouldn't it throw off your entire day if your day starts off with your workout and your workout starts on the same elliptical? It would be like having the wrong brand of coffee. It could just throw off the whole day. It would be like stopping at Starbucks on your way to work only to find out that Starbucks is closed.
Yeah.
Like it just throws off the whole routine.
No, I missed a couple weeks ago. I missed my morning workout, and so I had to go to the afternoon. And the crowd in the afternoon and the crowd at 4:30 in the morning are 2 different crowds. And I was all thrown off. I was like, "What is this?" It's not my normal. There's way too many people in here. I'm used to my 6 or 8 people in the whole gym.
Mm-hmm.
It was a weird experience.
I like to go between 1 and 3 in the afternoon. If I'm like not the whole 2 hours, although God, that would be such a dream. But if I go after 3, if I go like after afternoon carpool or whatever, throws everything off. All the Smith machines are all taken, and they don't have free weights. So
no free weights?
There's dumbbells. But you can't, like, there's no, like, bench press without it being on a Smith machine. It sucks.
Yeah, that's why I like Anytime.
I miss Anytime. I had an Anytime on the corner of Florida and Sherwood.
You got Anytime right there on
Town Center.
Yeah, that's where I go. It's great.
.625 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Patrick Grimion coming up in just a little bit. Oh, okay. So we started a new segment with producer Jake a few weeks ago, and Jake's out today. So I'm going to see if Cade can't pick up the torch and run with it. Patty G, you're in on this as well.
I'm here. I'm ready.
We call it Hot Take Jake, but he's not Jake. So
Is it
Hot Take Cade? I don't know.
Cold Take Cade?
No, it's not. It's not a cold take. I guarantee you. You don't know Cade well enough.
Cade?
No.
It could be ice cold. I don't know.
Ice cold?
Wait, I should probably
There
put it
you
back
are.
on. There we go. Yeah, it could be ice cold. I don't know.
All right. We're going to roll with the hot take, Jake. Cade version.
All right.
All right, what you got?
Brian, it's time for the NFL to join leagues such as the English Premier League and relegate teams that flat out stink. The bottom two teams, the worst two teams in the league, go down to the USFL or the XFL, and the XFL gets to promote two teams to the NFL. They seem to have a way to make it work over there, and they got a lot of money. And I think right now you're looking at the USFL, you're looking at potentially bringing back the XFL. There's, players' agents, they're the only ones in the stands right now. Look, these guys are trying to fight for, let's be real, a spot on some NFL roster at some point. That's the reason they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of interest, but if there's some kind of reason where teams have to fight for a position somewhere and money is tied to it, the big reason over there that you want to get into the English Premier League, I'm sure, not only is for a chance to compete to win a championship, but the money, the purse is a lot bigger in that league. So maybe we change some thoughts on these lower tier leagues, and maybe we stop seeing, look, the Saints are not that far removed from my childhood, from growing up, from playing games in Baton Rouge where things were bad. So I understand, in one season or two, you could be right back there. I'm not blind to the glory years of the last couple, but I think you can put that out there and bring in relegation in NFL.
This is glorious. I can't even argue with it. The whole point, I wanted to argue, but I totally agree. This is fantastic. This is creative. This is something we have not seen. Well, maybe the PGA Tour might kind of fit that a little bit.
Yeah, I guess so.
Where you make it for a little while, then you're over playing for Nike for a little while, and you make a couple cuts to get back on. Oh, man. I'm trying to think it through here. Is there a flaw in this? There's no flaw in this.
I'm sure there is.
No, the way we do sports here, okay, so if you finish last in the league, what do you get? The number one draft pick. You're rewarded with the number one draft pick.
How many times those teams get those picks and still continue to do nothing?
Right. Wow.
So here you go. You've done nothing for a little while. Go hang out at the USFL.
I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot.
So then how do you get back in?
By winning the USFL.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I haven't we haven't met as a committee yet to formalize the full plan, but either you take two teams from the predominant league, let's say if it ends up being the USFL, or maybe one team from each.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a 1-to-1 ratio. But yeah, that would be the idea, that you get two teams that can come up. And look, let's say it's Jacksonville or whatever, and they go down to the USFL.
Yeah.
If you can play yourself through the top tier of the USFL, then you're good to come back. But you're operating on a different budget in those other leagues.
Yeah.
So,
and it's that much harder to come back, though. It is harder to dig yourself back out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm liking this. There's a whole Ted Lasso angle to this and everything.
Because if you're in these other leagues, as we were mentioning, you're an athlete trying to get yourself to the highest tier.
Absolutely.
But now, okay, if that doesn't necessarily work out and your team's doing that great, well, then your team is moving up anyway. So I don't know. Maybe teams, you start plucking players to go into the NFL, and it's a different team once it transfers into the NFL. That could be a flaw, but I see this as maybe a way to draw an interest in a league that's just kind of
Well, so if you are, you know what this would do? This would end tanking. This would end tanking completely. Because if you're not in the run for the playoffs, but you are at risk of relegation, you don't want to lose out the back half of the season,
right? Because
you don't want to get booted from the league.
For sure.
Now, I don't know how this would affect the draft. Taking your your Jacksonvilles and your Detroits, getting your number one, number two picks every year,
Yeah.
but
you just have the team that comes up from
man.
the other league get the first and second draft pick, right?
If you're on your way back in, you get the top draft pick.
You get the top draft pick.
Yeah, that's
kind of a reward for y'all. Yeah. I like that too.
I mean, you get rewarded. You won back into the league, right? So now you get the reward of the first and second draft pick.
This is phenomenal.
What happens to the players that want to leave if their team gets relegated?
Oh, yeah. How would you handle free agency there?
Right. So then are you now re-looking at the contracts and saying, no, you're on the team for 2 years. You can't get out, whether we get regulated or not.
That'll be worked out in committee. For now, we got to get the
fan base.
I know. We got to get the news, though. Hot take, Cade ruling the day. Nicely done, sir. Here comes CBS. Dude, right out the blocks. And you were all worried about it. That was phenomenal.
The fan base would just lose their mind.
Absolutely, they would. All the more reason to be dialed in and not lose.
Like, when you're watching English Premier League right now, there's teams like my team that I follow was for a long time this season never going to win the championship.
Right.
But we started stinking really bad. Then we got bought by this group out of Saudi Arabia, and they spent a lot of money. They have kept us at least above the relegation belt.
Yeah.
So at the end of the season, it's all point based. So if you're not fighting for one or two spots, you're like, I just hope my team's not relegated. So like you're just hoping that team loses, and you're watching this one, hoping this team wins.
Good morning. I'm Michelle Southern in the Talk 107.3 Baton Rouge newsroom. Governor John Bel Edwards still opposes a bill that would ban transgender girls from competing in sports.
Coaches,
he vetoed the same measure last year, but the legislature is poised to approve it again. Mr. Edwards believes there is no need for a law like this.
And because it is unnecessary, I think that there is a certain
I don't know how to work the free agency
But he didn't fully say he would veto the bill again after it passed the Senate. The suspects accused of robbing and setting fire to Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser's home have been arrested. Plaquemines Parish Sheriff's Office spokesperson Sean Domain.
We don't know at this time if they knew it was the Lieutenant Governor's residence or not. That's something we're going to do after we interrogate him, after we extradite him back to Plaquemines Parish.
Robert Kelly and Angela Goodfellow, both of Slidell, were apprehended in Tuscaloosa on Wednesday. A bill to remove Robert E. Lee and Confederate Memorial Day from the list of legal holidays in Louisiana advances unanimously in House Judiciary. The measure is by New Orleans Representative Matthew Willard, who says he was unaware the legal holidays were still on the books until a constituent let him know.
I actually didn't believe it. Truly, I didn't believe it. And so I looked into our statute, and there enough among our list of legal holidays contains those two.
The bill now moves to the House floor. And the Louisiana House has passed a resolution that would repeal a decision made by the governor that would require students to receive
the music beds for Top Stories and Trending and the Outside In, we've been playing those on YouTube, and everything's been fine. So the rest of them, not so much. Yeah. The Outside In. You play the opens as well. Oh.
Yeah, no, Netflix stock collapsing.
Dropped by a third, dude.
35% is what Galen said. Wiping out $54 billion in market value.
I know.
That's the price of Twitter's purchase.
No. We've managed to complain ourselves into losses on this one. So what's not being looked at is, are you looking at Netflix quarter over quarter, year over year, or 5 years over 5 years? Because they're still up from the beginning of the pandemic.
Are they?
I think so. Could be wrong about that. But
well, you've also got a lot more streaming services now becoming a lot better.
Right.
And more affordable.
So
that their competition just stepped up their game. Like
Netflix has not been buying people up.
No, they can't.
Why are there 50 million little why are there 50 million different places to get streaming movies and TV shows?
Yeah.
Right. And as soon as they killed off Blockbuster, they started dancing around the ring like the match was over with. Meanwhile, all these upstarts come around looking for a shot at the title.
And then I think the switch became like, okay, do you have original programming? Because these other avenues like Hulu came in with like NBC right off the bat, like they had instant programming.
Yeah.
And then they did some stuff on their own, but like.
Well, and then the biggest thing is their competitors. The streaming is not their sole source of revenue.
You're talking about Amazon Prime and Apple TV predominantly.
Amazon, Peacock, Disney, Hulu, like that.
Hulu, the streaming is their.
Is that their sole segment though?
Their sole?
Like what else is Netflix?
What else does Hulu do?
Okay, Hulu's probably a bad example, but like Apple, Amazon,
Amazon
Disney.
Prime and Apple are the big two. Disney's another big one.
They have other sources of revenue.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, holy crap, we're about to change the subject from the things you sent over,
I'm
aren't
fine
we?
with that.
Okay.
And like Netflix, what live stuff can you watch? If people are
there needs to be a local, like some kind of a business lesson or angle to this.
Disney Plus is filming a lot of stuff here. Who do you hitch your wagon to? If Netflix rolls into town or Apple
you hitch your
TV,
wagon to whoever's paying you.
But if they both roll into town and ask you, who are you hitching your wagon to? You got to pick one or the other.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Could
yeah.
be. What do they have going on in that parking lot next to Red Stick Social?
Oh, I don't know. It's not a movie though. I've been asking around.
Like,
I don't know.
Tents, there's like generators.
I know.
They're
They're renovating Red Stick Social.
So is
We're
it
going to
that?
be out there today.
Is it that? Is it the renovations? It's on the
No.
other side of the parking lot.
It's on the railroad track side.
Yeah,
but
government's here, and then you have the parking lot, and then you have everybody. Like they had the same thing a couple weeks ago, but they had like Sprinter vans, like busing people in.
I know.
Like what's happening?
So, yeah. And when you get off I-110 and Government Street, there is a sign saying, like, what's one of the code words for a movie? You know, they always have code words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are they
with it, I don't know, but it's a rare day that I can't find it. 637 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Every Thursday we welcome in Patrick Gremion. He's the host of the Patty G Show, and he joins us to talk a little business. And well, if you're watching on YouTube, you know this is already making a turn before we're even out the gates. Patrick, welcome back, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Brian. Dude, I am fantastic. We are post-tax season.
I know.
It's like a breath of fresh air.
I'm shocked you're not in like a Hawaiian shirt with flip-flops on.
Well, that'll be tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm heading to Zurich.
All
So
right.
that'll be
You're heading to Missouri?
The Zurich.
Oh, the Zurich. Okay. Don't wear flip-flops to the
No, I'm
Zurich.
not wearing flip-flops.
Why'd you say Hawaiian shirt with the flip-flops?
I'll be in a similar styled attire.
All right. Yeah. Zurich's going to be fun.
I've never been.
It's, really?
This is my first time going.
So
yeah.
I've yet to go since it's been a teams competition.
Well, aren't you doing something out there this year?
Oh, yeah. Moscona Show will be out there. After further review, will be broadcasting live. We partner up with the Zurich every single year.
Listen, I see y'all like.
Yeah, it's more the
stuff all
sports
the time,
people
yeah.
than me. I don't get to have the fun.
Well, you got to go out there and say, "Look, I'll produce over there for you. I'll be the producer over there."
Nah,
you got to wiggle your way in.
No, I would love to, but that's no. You know where I'm gonna be tomorrow evening?
Where?
Live after 5. Kenny Neal.
That's who's playing this week. I couldn't remember who was playing.
Kenny Neal's kicking off Baton Rouge Blues Fest.
Okay.
So I'll be
Blues
handling
Fest is
introductory.
all weekend, right?
Yes, Saturday and Sunday. It's a free festival, multiple stages. This thing has grown. This is one of the best examples of how festivals can organically grow into Louisiana into something that's beyond themselves. Baton Rouge Blues Fest is one of the best examples of that.
And it's exciting to see it grow. Where is it? Is all downtown?
All downtown, Galvez Plaza, North Boulevard, what do they call it? The town square down there?
Yeah.
Yeah. All around that area. 3 different stages, a number of offshoots of different performances that aren't even on stages. You just find people like playing a blues guitar on the steps of City Club. It's cool. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about during this segment, and I wanted to talk about college recruiting, or not college recruiting, but businesses returning to college to recruit for their business. But we were talking about Netflix during the break, and we kind of have to run with that a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I think they
Backstory, Netflix stock dropped by a third yesterday.
Yeah, Galen said Netflix stock collapsed 35% yesterday, wiping out $54 billion of market share.
Yeah. And so we started off by talking about what are we looking at here as far as the hit to the company. But really, the conversation evolved into something much, much different that we're probably going to start to see throughout internet companies real soon. There are a number of internet companies who were hungry, who took out their competition, who killed off an entire generation of entertainment and whatnot, but they're not staying hungry, and they're not doing their level best to stay on top. And I think this is a lesson for business overall. It's one thing to get to the top of the mountain. It's another thing to keep knocking off the people who are trying to nip at your heels as well. And Netflix might be in that class right now. And here's where I'm going with this. When they were growing, when Netflix was growing, they took out all the blockbusters and the Hollywood videos, the brick and mortar establishments where we would go on a Friday night to rent,
and they put
Titanic or whatever.
Kiosk at Walgreens
and then they took out the kiosks as well. Now the kiosks still exist because you didn't have manpower or rent or anything like that. You didn't have overhead.
I'm sure you paid rent to the facility it was located. I'm sure they weren't letting that sit there free.
Not in any significant way. It's not the same as owning a building.
True.
So they still exist, but they're not a factor in the competition here.
Yeah, but that was their like boots on the ground, get us out the gate, get our name out there. Everybody's like, what are these red boxes? What is this?
But as we see what is that? There we go. Thank you. A little bleed over there.
That was the Netflix tone.
Oh, okay. I missed that. All right. Cade's always Johnny on the spot with the drops, and I'm not used to it.
You're thrown way off guard.
I was.
They knocked out the stores, they knocked out the blockbusters, and then they became the giant.
Right.
But then they got comfortable.
Right. Are they less hungry? Have they not continued to grow? And their competition, and this is what we were talking about during the break, their competition does more than just stream.
Yes.
Hulu just streams TV, movies, and the like. Okay. You've got 1,000 other random words that have created their own little streaming services as well. I don't know the name of that, Newbie or Vubi or whatever. There's 1,000.
The free one or whatnot.
Yeah, there's the Crackles of the world. There's what's the one that does the horror films?
I don't know. I don't watch horror films.
Hulu does just stream, but they offer the live programming option too.
And that's where I think people are turning off of Netflix, is they're wanting to watch live TV, live sporting events, and so they're shutting down their Netflix, and then they're realizing that Hulu has all this streaming, so now they're canceling their Netflix subscription because they're getting everything they need from Hulu.
Either Hulu or YouTube.
Or YouTube, and now with smart TVs that you can plug in your YouTube channel and start watching YouTube on there. You can watch your Spotify videos on there. Netflix has to do a lot more than just be Netflix in order to stay relevant.
Shudder was the name of the horror film.
Okay.
So you've got the ones like Shudder that are extremely niched, right? And then you've got a million of them just nipping at your heels that have like offshoot late 80s movies that nobody watches anyway, but they can offer them to you for free, so you download them and you're in the game, and you get like 3 commercials during a movie. So it's like, oh, okay, that's fine, whatever. But you've also got the Amazon Primes and the Apple TVs and the Disney Pluses, where they're part of something much, much larger.
And this is just one.
And that's and I mentioned those 3. You mentioned like Peacock and Discovery Plus is probably in there as well. There's a whole section of them that the streaming service is the offshoot of the on-air product, but they're the ones that I think are going to be the next level. Are the streaming service is one product that is part of an overwhelmingly large company. Like Disney Plus has that's the streaming service. You've got the Disney Channel. You've got all the Disney properties. You've got all the other things that Disney owns as well.
The products, the goodies.
Right. So Disney Plus, they can do a lot more to leverage themselves to bring in people, lower subscription rates or whatever, which they're never going to do, but they could if they wanted to. The Amazon Primes of the world, everything is running through Amazon, hell, especially in Baton Rouge right now. In fact, we had Amazon out at the Rotary Club yesterday to talk about 1,000 new jobs coming to Baton Rouge over the next year as they launch that facility where Cortana's at.
They've got deeper pockets because they have multiple sources of revenue coming in that is not just limited to their streaming services. And they're able to dump massive amounts of cash into all this new content, unique content, original content that Netflix is just starting to get behind the ball on.
Because, if you're Amazon, the streaming service is just one small factor. If you're Apple, the streaming service is just one small factor.
Tiny, tiny factor.
So, got a minute left in this segment. We'll pick it back up on the backside of the break. What can a Netflix do to survive in this world? How can a Netflix turn that corner to make sure that they can, A, stay hungry, B, grow smart, and C, keep afloat in this world that they're about to be swimming in? What can they do to meet those three factors? Because when you first looked at Netflix, it's brilliant, it's a game changer, it's changing the world, blah, blah, blah. But now, a decade, 2 decades later, they feel like they're about to be continually smaller in the grand scope of things, which, by the way, is going to be bad for entertainment, because the more narrow the scope of outlets of entertainment, the more narrow the entertainment is going to be. Just look at top 40 radio these days. You get fewer options from the output because there's fewer platforms to do it from. So, are we about to start seeing that narrow? He's Patrick Grimion, host of the Petty G Show. Quick break. Your money now, then we're back at it after this. All right. Technology is fairly easy to replicate, but content is not. Thank you, Galen. Content is king. Content is king, but distribution pays the king's mortgage. How about that for a little turn of phrase, huh? It's expensive. It takes a lot of time and talent. So companies that own a lot of content have an advantage over Netflix. But Netflix has a ton of content.
They don't have The Office anymore, Brian.
That's
why their stock plummeted.
Okay, but that was not a Netflix original.
I know, but they had it. That was the place to get it. I can't tell you how many times over the years that I would pull up Netflix just to watch The Office.
If I'm Netflix, you know what
Yeah, and they lost Marvel. They're getting their content that's not original bought out.
Right, so you have to double down on original content and find an alternate revenue source.
Yeah.
You have to...
As a streaming service, what are you going to do? What are you going to... What other alternate...
Stop limiting yourself.
Okay.
Try to take...
So what are you going to...
Buy a shit ton of restaurants. Go buy waiter.
They should bring back the drive-in movie theater. Have a Netflix drive-in movie
Yes.
theater, and then
stream all your original content.
Again, they sponsor it, hook it up, make it cool, new technology, pull up, get your popcorn.
Free for Netflix subscribers, or $5-10 at the door to get in if you're not a Netflix subscriber.
What was that place that they did?
Is your mic on for this?
It is now.
Okay.
They did live podcasts. Maybe it was This American Life or other like NPR podcasts where like you go to a theater. It was a comedy show. You'd go to theaters around the country, and they were somewhere doing a live show, and wherever you were at, you were just seeing the live show from your movie theater, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, couldn't Netflix do something to where like maybe it's a pop-up setting, maybe it's like established things, but it's Netflix branded like stuff. Yeah, free to subscribers. You come in.
You make your money on the concessions. You sell booze, you sell alcohol.
You have a real life version of your online product.
Yeah, because that's what the argument comes to, is people are wanting to get out more, right? So why am I going to get out more and still pay $12.99 a month if I'm not watching as much TV? But if I can take the family and go have like a meal or something and watch the TV in like in a setting where people are there, I'm socializing, I'm getting that people factor. Why not do that?
Everybody's business model is, hey, from the comfort of your home here. Well, okay, if no one's going over there, then go back to the movie theater. Maybe do something that makes it cool and nostalgic or something.
Yeah.
Play Cobra Kai all the time.
Oh, crap. We missed this by a full minute.
I'll get the spots.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I'll have the spots.
Okay.
indigestion this morning. Just took some Sudafed.
Hey.
Took Zyrtec.
Zyrtec, yeah. I got the Sudafed and I got the various tiers of Mucinex. Got cough drops. Got nighttime. Daytime.
I take the Walgreens version of the Claritin.
Walfed?
Wallatin. But the pills are so tiny that you feel like you got to take a bunch of them because they're so small.
Oh, yeah, the Zyrtec's like nothing.
Yeah. So I'm like, I was telling Chris, I was like, I took 4 of them. She's like, why? I'm like, I don't know, because they're small.
It's like, what happens if you take 4 Zyrtec?
That's what the song "I Can't Feel My Face" is about by The Weeknd.
Hey, it's ESPN's Joe Buck.
Tell you what I'm doing. If I'm Netflix, I buy Twitch. That's what I'm doing.
Buy Elon Musk.
I'm buying Twitch.
Yeah, I can't afford Elon Musk. Buy Twitch, incorporate all the. Now you have a streaming service. Now you have a live service. I like it.
World's problems solved during the break right there. Boom. That's how we do it. If you're not watching us on YouTube Live, you need to be. It's Mornings with Brian Haldane. Go ahead and subscribe while you're there. He's Patrick Grimion, host of the Patty G Show, joins us every Thursday. So we were talking during the break about what does Netflix need to do to stay ahead of the curve. They lost a third. Their stock dropped by a third yesterday. How was your day, dear? Huh.
Not bad. I just lost a third of my worth.
Yeah. You know, this is how we do. Oh, man. Can you imagine the level of tension within the offices this morning?
It's not good, Brian.
No, it's not good.
You got people updating their resumes instead of working on how to grow the company.
So when you look at the major players in the streaming services, everybody else has a lot more that they can do. Netflix is just on-demand content. Movies, stand-up comedy specials.
You can get a lot elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of they're doing something great with their stand-up specials. They're all their Netflix specials. Like that's what a lot of comedians are going after.
Yes,
they want to get their Netflix special.
Yes,
but you got to do more than that.
No, I know. You've got to broaden out into a lot more original content, to be sure, but you've got to find another way to generate revenue. And we're talking about different ways that they can get involved in real life, like outside of the streaming world. And that conversation takes a number of different paths, a number of different things you could try to do. When you think about Amazon, is your first thought the new facility going up on Cortana? Is your first thought the 1,000 jobs that are coming to Baton Rouge? Is your first thought the packages that are on everybody's front porch? Is your first thought the number of drones that you're going to see in the air in the very near future dropping things off? Or is your first thought Amazon watching streaming videos? All of these things are Amazon. If you're thinking Netflix, you're only thinking one thing.
Yeah.
How do you grow? How do you stay hungry? How do you diversify?
I like the idea that Cade brought to the table about doing the drive-ins, right?
Drive-in.
The drive-in.
Okay,
drive-in
doesn't necessarily have to be a drive-in.
Just
the
a,
number of
physical place.
Okay, a physical place. The number of box stores that are empty right now that could somehow turn themselves into, or the number of movie theaters that are empty right now. Movie theaters have been reinventing themselves, like celebrity theaters is phenomenal. We did Perkins Row earlier this week. It was there.
Do dinner and a show better than anybody else.
Yeah.
Focus on the food. You've already got the streaming and the videos down.
So buy restaurants.
Focus on the food. Buy restaurants or buy those empty box stores, massive places, and have your TVs or surrounding everywhere. But focus on the food.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do like the some of the other local places that have done where the food was kind of the afterthought. It was mostly on the experience, watching the show. Focus on the.
Well, you're
food.
thinking of like Movie Tavern. Yeah.
I just didn't want to,
well, no, it's okay. I've never been. Can you believe
I've been once. It was good before they got the bug infestation.
They got a bug infestation?
Yeah,
I don't know about this.
Like a white worm, white maggot worm.
Oh, gross!
Infestation. Oh, it was bad.
Oh,
there's like pictures that surfaced everywhere. Went real bad.
Really? That's gross.
But before, the food was mediocre.
Here was my suggestion during the break was buy Twitch.
Yeah. Buy a live streaming service.
That's part of where entertainment is going. That's part of where new content is going. You can invest in all the overpriced actors you want and all the elaborate production you want, or you can invest in individual creators.
Or are you even investing in them? Or are you just providing them a platform in which to create their own
your
stuff
investment
on their own
provides
nickel
them
and
the
dime?
platform, so yes, you are investing
You're
in
building
them.
the infrastructure and everything. I mean, the Patty G show's on Twitch.
Mhm.
Like, you want to get that streaming wherever you can.
Yeah.
And if Netflix buys it and you incorporate into the Netflix app, they have like a live section. Now you're starting to actually compete with all your other people.
I'm liking it. Because it opens. So it's mutually beneficial. Number one, it makes the individual creator that much more appealing because their Twitch is now on Netflix. And number two, it makes Netflix that much more appealing because you have that much larger of a wealth of
original content
produced, and you're merging your way, you're backdooring your way into the social media space as well. Huh. I like it. And they say necessity.
Netflix, call us up. We got great
I
ideas.
know. And they say necessity is the mother of invention. Well, we just turned a corner. We just solved Netflix. How you like that? Hey, before we get you out of here, I do want to spend at least a couple minutes on this. Job recruiters are coming back to college campuses, and some employers are pulling out all the stops with intimate gatherings and flashy presentations. Grabbing this from the Business Report. Young graduates are in high demand, the Wall Street Journal reports. Employers plan to hire at least 30% more new graduates this year than they did last year, according to the National Association of Colleges and Employers. In some fields, including technology and finance, starting salaries in the six figures, and while many younger workers say they wish to work remotely part of the time, some are ready to be in the office. I'm going to stop right there to ask a question and give you 2 minutes to answer it. What should employers and recruiters be doing right now to separate themselves?
Be authentic in their pitch to potential recruits. Don't go to them with just this flat. The way the article paraphrases it is saying they go in with these flashy presentations, these flashy things. Well, if you're if you're not authentic to what your brand's about, and that doesn't correlate to an office site visit, people are going to hate it. I mean, what more would you hate than going on an office tour, seeing this great lively bunch, showing up on Monday, and everybody's just like miserable.
You ever seen the movie The Program?
You know that answer
before
you even asked it, Brian.
I know. Well, it sets so many great examples. So it's a movie about a college football program. James Caan plays the coach. They look a lot like Florida State. They play in South Carolina Stadium though, but ESU is the school. Anyway, they got this high school recruit that they bring in for his recruiting trip. His name's Darnell Jefferson, played by Omar Epps. They bring in Darnell Jefferson, and as he gets off the bus, cheerleaders are there, the band is playing, it's lively, there's confetti going off, the whole works, right? Darnell commits to ESU. He shows up on the first day for summer practice, and it's like an offensive lineman and a defensive lineman waiting him there to walk him to his dorm. It's like, where'd all the cheerleaders and the honeys and the band go? He's like, man,
that's just to get you to sign the dotted line.
Yeah, now you're just a warm bleep freshman, man.
Yeah, so then it comes down to businesses, like the conversations we've had time and time again, is making sure that their business culture is desirable for the new recruits.
What's up on the Patty G Show this week?
The Home Builders Association of Greater Baton Rouge. We talk about the construction industry and also about the Parade of Homes happening this weekend.
Okay, Parade of Homes happening this weekend. Patty G Show, you know where to find it. Basically everywhere you get your podcasts, and apparently on Twitch as well. He's Patrick Grimion. We always appreciate the time, man.
Thank you, Brian.
Absolutely. We got CBS News coming your way. The CBS World News Roundup coming your way. Then hour 2 of Mornings with Brian Haldane coming up next on Talk 107.3. Oh, man. Oh, snap.
I think the Twitch idea that's got some legs.
It does. It does. I like it.
Because Twitch is just constantly growing. You get a lot of more gaming on Twitch. That's kind of what it initially started out as, is gamers were going there to stream their gaming.
Right, but a number of other...
Netflix lean into that. Start making video games, Netflix. Buy Twitch, start making video games, have your streamers then playing your video games that you've made that you're now selling for people to download in the App Store, on their computers, their PlayStations.
We've got answers, dude. We've got answers. That's what it is.
You got to get outside of your box. You're no longer going to beat.
That's my point. You've got to get outside of your box. That's my point.
You can't beat somebody.
You've got to get outside of your red box.
Yeah.
Sign Lou Diamond Phillips to a multi-year deal along with Tara Reid. Bring back some shark movies.
Lou Diamond Phillips.
Work.
Okay, so
Here's who you sign on. Ninja.
What?
Get Ninja.
Who's Ninja?
The gamer. With Red Bull. He's got like the crazy different color hair every time. He's a competitive gamer. Get him on your platform to start.
There's literally only one gamer I know.
Who?
Dr. Disrespect. No, Dr. Disrespect. What's his other name?
I don't know. Start or get really creative. Start buying up YouTube creators and paying them to post on your platform. Call up Mr. Beast. Say, Mr. Beast, we'll start giving you a bunch of money. That dude's retention rate is stupid. I don't know. No idea.
That's Dr. Disrespect.
Clearly, obviously. You just told me who he was.
Herschel Guy Beam the Fourth.
All right, type in Ninja.
American YouTuber.
Yeah. Do collaboration with Red Bull.
No, I like Dr. Disrespect better. That do.
But still, people love watching them.
Yeah. By the way, TikTok, like, I'm off it with the TikTok lives. Every TikTok live that comes across my stream, and I don't know how my algorithm keeps feeding me this crap, but everyone is a woman putting on makeup. I'm like, most
what
of the
you really want, Brian.
Most of the TikToks that I actually like are stand-up comedians. If I'm clicking the little heart, it's something funny, either stand-up comic or somebody doing something funny. I don't follow any of the TikTok trends. I physically tell TikTok to stop sending me First Amendment warriors. I freaking hate that shit. What are you doing, Mr. Policeman? It's my right to be here. Shut up. Shut up. What's your name, sir? I don't have to tell you my name. Shut up. I actually tell TikTok, stop. I don't want to see any of this crap anymore. The Karens, I don't want to see that anymore. The person who does the both sides of an argument because they had a bad day at the restaurant they work at, I'm off it. I'm down to like strictly comedy. Just give me comedy or a good recipe.
You need some lighthearted.
And then somehow as I'm scrolling through, I'm going to come across a TikTok live of a woman putting on makeup. And no matter how quickly I hit that thing to turn it off, like, go to the next one. That's just what it's full of.
So maybe they're targeting middle-aged men because they're
no, they are because there's cleavage.
What their children are watching. Maybe their daughters are watching the TikToks.
No, it's not about their daughters. It's about the cleavage. So they're taking my demographics and feeding me what's based off of dudes hoping a boobie pops out. Here. Go to the live side. What do we got? Oh, here's the floor. This is great content.
See, I don't even do the lives. Like I don't ever watch the lives. Oh yeah, look, she's putting on makeup.
Yeah, there's one. And and the number of how many people? 1,000 people are watching this woman right now. Look at this one. She's wearing bunny ears. She's not putting on makeup.
And purple hair.
And purple hair. There you go.
She's working out.
What the hell is she doing? She forgot her kettlebell. Look at those quads, dude.
That's why they're sending it to you, Brian.
The overhead light.
How many people are watching it?
Nobody, I guess.
You. Only you. Traffic.
This is shit. This is terrible.
Oh, there you go.
Nice little filter there. 3,500 people. A person fully clothed in the bathtub. See? Everybody's watching this. There are 721 people watching this one. in the hopes that like it's going to get dirty.
Oh, look.
Hey, see? They think you're thinking the same way I am.
Straightening her hair?
Mm-hmm. Oh, she's about to put on makeup.
Ooh, 3D printing a machine.
You know what else? Oh, here you go. Tell me.
Oh, he's splitting.
Hey,
he's splitting muscles.
Oh, nice. Watch this. The only reason to watch that is because you think a boobie's going to pop out.
I don't know why they're targeting you with that, Brian. Maybe that's the only people that do lives. Like, I've never watched the lives on TikTok before.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a game where you can watch it through his mirror.
Interesting. But, so, is there a way... Huh? Yes. Oh, I do. I would do the show online for sure.
Why don't you do it then?
I don't have enough... You have a minimum of 1,000 followers.
Oh, I got that. We can do it.
You have 1,000 followers on TikTok?
Yeah. I have like 1,600. I have 1,800. My bad.
I have like 600.
I have 18.
Not even that. 554.
I got 18.
How?
My one video, way back when, the pizza challenge.
Really?
And I just kept up with content and just.
Well, that's the thing. I don't put out enough content.
I just keep up with content, man.
But is your content drawing anything on a regular basis?
400 on average, 400 or 500 views on average.
Yeah, I'm in the 350 range lately.
Yeah, I'm like 400 or 500 on average.
Yeah, my biggest.
I won yesterday at 725. So.
My biggest video is at 308,000 views. But it didn't. It translated into about 100 new followers.
I know mine.
Don't you worry, child. Yeah. She has got a plan for you. Don't you worry now. Yeah.
707 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Hour 2 of Mornings with Brian Haldane coming your way right now. Brian here with you, Cade Wasan producing. Got a busy hour for you this hour. We're going to get caught up on the legislative session in our next segment. Daniel Erspaner from the Pelican Institute is going to hop on the hotline to chat. Really, the impetus for this is an overall update for sure, but the educational savings accounts that the Pelican Institute has been dialed in on cleared the House yesterday and is on its way to the Senate. And this is one that I'm glad to see it moving forward. There's still a few issues that I have trouble reconciling as a conservative. It's a very conservative-based proposal, but there's a few minor bugs in it. Not in the bill, but in the thought, in the whole movement behind it. We'll get to that in our next segment. Also this hour, Lieutenant Don Capola going to be by for Crime Stoppers at 7:35. We'll see if we can't catch a few bad guys. We round out the hour with the outside in. We'll start with top stories and trending. We'll get to that in just a minute. First, I got to remind you, though, all this week at Talk1073.com, we want your Jazz Fest memories. Jazz Fest is almost here, and Talk 1073 wants to take your memories and help make new ones. Go to Talk1073.com, submit your favorite Jazz Fest memories, and then next week, we're going to pick a few winners, read those memories on the air, and send you to Jazz Fest as a result of it. We're giving away 2 sets of 2 tickets right here on this show, 2 sets of 2 tickets on the Jay Ducote show from 1970 to now. Everybody's got their favorite Jazz Fest memory. First time you saw the Red Hot Chili Peppers out there, all the way back to Stevie Wonder playing Sir Duke, or for that matter, Duke himself. Maybe it was the first show back after Hurricane Katrina. Seeing Harry Connick Jr. and Alan Toussaint twerking on stage. Yes, that's a thing that happened. My wife and I were there. Dr. John on the piano. Everybody's got their favorite Jazz Fest story to tell. Your story could land you right back at this year's festival. Just look for the Jazz Fest flipper at Talk1073.com and let the memories flow. All right, time for top stories and trending. Let's hit it.
The news. Yo, we getting ready to bring you the news, boy.
What do you hear?
What do you say?
Want to tell me what happened?
Now, top stories and trending
5, 4, 3, 2, I let one go.
on Talk 107.3 FM.
The most trusted name in news.
Brought to you by Complete Collision Center, with locations in Zachary and Baton Rouge. Don't let who you choose to repair your vehicle be your second accident. Choose CompleteCollision.com.
I want to know absolutely everything that's happened up to now.
Number 5.
2 days after the House Appropriations Committee decided we can't have nice things and voted to break up $500 million into general funds instead of specifically allocating the money to making our lives better by building a new bridge, lawmakers remain confident they'll be able to move forward with plans for that new bridge. $500 million total has been left in 2 different funds. This is a quote, by the way. One's $400 million and one's $100 million. It just hasn't been allocated to anything at this point, which leaves us in a really good place to negotiate for that money to go to the bridge. I think that's very important for everyone to understand, said State Senator Rick Ward. Even if the state's budget does not allow for a $500 million down payment on the new bridge, Ward says it won't be the end of the road for their plans for said new bridge. About time to get Rick Ward back on the phone. Let's look for him early next week.
Number 4.
Because I'm like, I just need him for a pick-me-up. Remember Daily Affirmations with Stuart Smalley on SNL? That's what I need from Rick Ward when it comes to the new bridge. East Baton Rouge Parish Metro Council voted to approve a developer's request to change what some residents describe as part of Baton Rouge's last rural area along Hoosier Road. The plans to build a large subdivision there, 194 units to be exact. We had Metro Councilman Dwight Hudson on the show yesterday talking about this and his level of opposition to it. This is Dwight's district. He should know about what's going on in his own backyard. He should have a pretty decent say as to what they're capable of pulling off and what they're not, especially when you butt up to Bayou Manchac in a flood-prone area. Nonetheless, the council did pass the proposal for the upcoming subdivision.
Number 3.
So sick of politics I could vomit. Deputies are looking for 2 men who were caught on a home security camera walking into a garage with guns attempting to burglarize a car. East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office shared the surveillance video, which shows 2 men in the foreground and 2 people across the street running from the driveway when the car's alarm sounded. It can be seen on our news partner's website, WBRZ.com. Deputies said the attempted vehicle burglary happened Monday night along Halifax Drive. This, by the way, is just one example of this happening all over town every single day and night.
Number 2.
A person died after a vehicle crashed into trees along I-12 and burst into flames yesterday morning. The wreck was first reported around 8:30 a.m. on I-12 East between Millerville and O'Neill Lane. The victim was pronounced dead shortly after paramedics arrived. Video from the area showed a massive plume of smoke at the scene. It was impossible to miss. No other details have been released about what caused the crash at this point.
Number 1.
Police are investigating a shooting that left 1 woman hospitalized early this morning. According to reports, the victim was shot in the lower leg by a 5-year-old child. She was transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Her identity has not yet been released. In fact, there are no other details available at this time. Those are your top stories. Here's a look at what's trending this morning. Legislation to keep transgender athletes in Louisiana from competing on college and K-12 women's and girls sports teams has been approved by the state Senate with little debate. The Advocate reports the bill by Republican Senator Beth Mizell of Franklinton passed Tuesday evening on a 29-6 vote. It goes next to the State House. Democratic Governor John Bell Edwards vetoed similar legislation last year on Ask the Governor yesterday. He hinted that he's likely going to veto this one again. In fact, called the bill mean-spirited. Actually, he called it last year. He said it was mean-spirited, unnecessary, and could result in loss of NCAA events in the state. He has not said what he would do specifically, but he hasn't changed his position on the bill either. So the bill to protect women in women's sports continues to move forward. We've had State Senator Beth Mizell on the show talking about that bill specifically. That is available on demand at talk1073.com. Those are your top stories in trending. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back from that break, let's get an inside look at the state legislative session. Daniel Erspaner from the Pelican Institute is on the hotline, and he will join us next right here on Talk 107.3 FM.
If you've got a financial situation and you're not quite sure what to do, you better call Gregory.
I started my retirement about 5 years ago, and I truly am late in life.
Would I be better to just withdraw the money?
the white, I've got the blacks, I've got the shirts. But yeah, I like my red Talk 107.3 shirt. Yeah. Two? Oh, yeah. Till it stops happening. Damn it, I thought I got all these. Sorry. Okay. I need to replace this promo now that that's a done deal. It was a back-to-back, isn't it? Yeah, it's a 60 combined. No. No. Yes. Yeah. Hey, right after the show tomorrow, this is not for whatever, but .718 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Time to get a look at the legislative session. Joining us to do that right now, he heads up the Pelican Institute. His name is Daniel Erspaner. Daniel, welcome back to the show. How are you, sir?
Hey, good morning. I'm doing great.
Glad to have you on again. Got some good news from the Pelican Institute for Public Policy. I said Republican policy. Close. The Pelican Institute for Public Policy got some big news. One of the items that y'all have been looking at for this session moved forward yesterday. Education savings accounts. It passed the Louisiana House of Representatives. Tell me all about the movement and tell me about why you're liking this bill so much.
Yeah, this is one of these really important steps forward in our education system that will allow kids who really need some flexibility in particular to allow the state dollars to follow the child, right? And this is an important thing as we realize our education system is intended to fund students, not systems, right? And so this bill that passed the House yesterday will allow kids in foster care, kids who are military families, and kids who've been denied a public school choice that are in a DNF school to have an education savings account that will allow them to create the educational opportunity that best fits them, whether that's a private school or a collection of tutors, or there's a whole bunch of different things that this could look like. It's a huge step forward for Louisiana.
So it is being pitched as a pilot program, but I would y'all have made no bones about it. The long-term goal would be this should be for everyone.
Oh, absolutely. We believe that every dollar should follow the child to the educational opportunity of their choice in Louisiana. But in the meantime, let's learn from what we can. We learn from other states. But let's get those kids who are most at need, who most at risk of falling behind to help them. And there are a few other targeted bills similar to this coming through the process that will be debated in the next couple of weeks, but this is a big one.
It is a big one, and seeing this have a win on any level is phenomenal. Has the governor given any inkling as to whether or not he'll sign off on it?
You know, we haven't heard yet. At least he hasn't said anything publicly. But here's some good news. This bill passed with 76 votes in the House, which included Republicans, Democrats, and independents. And so this, it's a pretty strong message from the House that this is a major priority and had bipartisan support.
Absolutely. And then on the Senate side, I'm guessing it's going to receive about the same percentage, the same level of support as well. How does it work? How does the money land in these accounts?
So a lot of the details, some of the details are still to be set up by the department, but I can explain how they tend to work and how they worked in other states, and how we expect they'd work here. So it takes the average state allocation. So there's this very complicated formula we call the MFP, the Minimum Foundation Program, and that is a formula that decides how much money we spend per kid on education. So we take the average amount, which ends up being about $5,400.
Okay.
And that amount then for a parent, for a child who opts in, one of these targeted populations who opts into the system, that $5,400 from the state general fund will go into an education savings account. It moves into an account that will be administered by the department. And there's a list that the department will develop. This is the State Department of Education that has a list of approved educational expenses. A private school, a tutor, there's a way, as long as you're delivering the core education and the core subject curriculum, you can design this in any different ways. And so the dollars will go into that account, and parents will have access to direct those dollars to whatever of that list of approved educational expenses will look like.
Daniel, I got you on here while simultaneously something else is happening in the state legislature that was quite disheartening for anybody who lives in the capital region. And I think you've kind of given me an idea, man. So you take this $5,400 on average, $5,400, right? Well, like let's say instead of it being exactly $5,400, let's just say it's $5,412.35. Okay. Do you think anyone would mind if we took that 35 cents and just rounded it down and put that 35 cents into a separate account? And for every student in Louisiana, we take that remainder and put it into an account, and we'll use that account to build a new bridge in Louisiana. I'm getting a real Office Space vibe here right now. I want to get Samir and Michael Bolton and Peter on the phone and see if we can't build this thing.
Well, that didn't work out all that well for our friends in Office Space.
They had a rounding error. They had a rounding error for sure. It kind of Superman 3 this thing. Can we Superman 3 a new bridge out of your educational savings accounts?
You know what? I might suggest maybe a different Office Space perspective, which is, if you look at all of the things, and by the way, I encourage everyone to go to Louisiana Checkbook and see, just how we're spending our biggest state dollars. It's not as we might hope on roads and bridges. So you remember the scene in Office Space where they sit down and the Bobs come in and they say, what is it you do here?
Yeah.
So I think maybe we had that conversation with some of our state programs where those dollars could better be spent building a new bridge for Baton Rouge.
I'm liking it. We've got a lot of Smakowskis working in Louisiana. We need to rid the Smakowskis. Let's bring in the Bobs and see if we can't get the Smakowskis and the Lumbergs out of here.
That's right.
You realize that's a 20-year-old movie at this point. I think we might have lost some folks on this one.
Oh, no, don't say that.
So educational savings accounts moves forward. What else is the Pelican Institute keeping their eyes on?
Yeah, the big stories next week are going to be about occupational licensure. You and I have talked about this before. 3 bills, 2 on the House side in the House Commerce Committee on Monday, and 1 on the Senate side and the Senate Commerce Committee on Wednesday of next week are going to debate a package of bills that will really allow entrepreneurs to flourish, that will help set the rules of the road that start to tackle this problem. We have the most punishing system of occupational licensure, where people have to ask permission from the government, get a permission slip from the government to work. Louisiana, as we've talked about before, is a significant outlier, requiring more licenses for low and moderate income professions than any other state in the country. And this is keeping people down. It is preventing them from pursuing the American dream. And a bipartisan group of legislators has come together to present some bills that will begin to chip away at this and have a big impact on workers all across Louisiana.
You say low to middle income. Give me some examples of the industries or the businesses that fall victim to this.
Yeah, so some outliers here in Louisiana, for example, we're the only state in the country to require florists to have an occupational license. One of only 4 to require interior designers to have an occupational license. And for people who are hair braiding, or even the assistant shampooer that works in the back of the salon, all those people have to have a full cosmetology license, which can cost anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 in training and schooling, and take a number of years, again, just to braid hair or wash hair back in the back of the salon. And one we've talked about a bunch. We have a guy in Lafayette who tried to start a mobile barbershop in the midst of the pandemic. He was a licensed barber. He got his permit from the city of Lafayette and the Department of Health, and was going. He invested his entire life savings into starting this enterprise, and the barber board said, no, we don't allow mobile barbershops. That's too much innovation.
It is insane.
And they shut him down.
Now, all these licenses, they involve fees. Daniel, what's the likelihood that we could take $1 or 2 of these fees and round them down into an account that would help build the new Mississippi River Bridge?
Hey, that's the best idea maybe we've heard today. We just get, these licensor boards, some of them have their own buildings. Maybe they could sell those off to fund the new bridge. That might be good.
I'm liking that a lot as well. Anything else y'all are watching?
Well, education, licensure, the big deals. We're going to look at some technology bills in terms of cryptocurrency and some regulatory sandboxes that allow innovation to flourish, and always keeping an eye on the budget and tax issues. With a big surplus, maybe it's time to look at the next step in tax reform. We took an important one last year. Most of that work has to be done in an odd number year because of the Constitution, but there are some things like taking on some of the sales tax reforms and maybe even lowering income tax rates that can be done this year. We're keeping an eye on all that.
Speaking of sales tax reform, and if we have time, I'm going to get back to the cryptocurrency thing in a minute. Yep. Speaking of the sales tax reform, the movement to centralize sales tax collections, it's looking like it's running into a few roadblocks this time around that it didn't last time.
It is. We're seeing a lot of opposition from some local government entities that were as part of the process last year. Mm-hmm. This is worth looking at for folks, right? This is one of these common sense deals where, again, I feel like a broken record sometimes. We're an outlier from around the country.
There are 48 other states that do it the right way. We are an outlier. I don't feel like a broken record because the record is broken. There's no way around that. We're the outlier here.
It's deeply broken. And so, again, this is similar to sort of in the licensure vein and others. If you look at, there's bipartisan support for changing this. The people who are against it are the people who make an unfair profit from the broken system the way it is. And so we've got to really break through that entrenched status quo and get to these reforms. And the sales tax system is just example A of just how broken the system is.
Cryptocurrency, are there bills in particular? I'm not asking if you know them or not, but do you know who's pushing cryptocurrency to get a legislative hold on it in this session?
Yeah, the legislator who's really taken this on is Representative Mark Wright from Covington.
Oh, I like him.
And Representative Wright is great. His industry, his day job, deals with cryptocurrency transactions. He's in the shipping industry, and so he's really taken this on, been a champion, and has a couple of bills related to crypto. And then Representative Beryl Amity has this regulatory sandbox idea in the financial technology space that would allow and cultivate new industries that frankly, our regulatory structure isn't set up to handle right now. And so it's a place for new ideas to flourish. Again, successful in a lot of other states. We're missing opportunities for development, jobs, and entrepreneurship right here in Louisiana.
Going to give you some homework since we're talking crypto. I want you to go look up SB 305 by Franklin Foyle and tell me if this doesn't read like he's setting the ground rules for NFTs in Louisiana.
Oh, I will. All right.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. If for no other reason than I get to call Franklin Foyle Mr. 305. He's Daniel Erspaner from the Pelican Institute. We'll talk to you soon. Let me know when you're in town again. We get to get you back in studio.
I'd love it. Thanks, Brian. Great to be with you.
Likewise. We'll talk to you soon. We are due up for a quick break. Going to check news, traffic, weather. When we come back, we're going to be talking a little bit about domestic violence. We dig into that every so often on Crime Stoppers, and that's what we're going to do next right here on Talk 107.3 FM, the new flavor of talk in Baton Rouge. Alrighty then. Sometimes when my mouth opens, I hate what comes out of it. Like, y'all come on in. I'm gonna stand. All right, give me the rundown here.
Okay, this is what we're doing. Domestic violence is today. It's Thursday, April 21st, 6 p.m. at 1252 North Acadian Thruway East. It's at St. Mary Baptist Church. The theme of it is you don't have to suffer in silence.
Position on the bill that would ban transgender girls from competing in female sports hasn't changed. He says the state has bigger fish to fry.
I would much prefer the legislature spend its time focusing on issues that people are actually talking about around their supper table. This is not one of them.
Oil City Representative Danny McCormick's bill to allow non-felons to conceal carry a gun without a permit passes in the House 64 to 27. Last year, Governor Edwards vetoed the legislation due to the removal of the training requirement to conceal carry. McCormick filed the same measure this session.
This bill will not allow anyone to carry a concealed weapon unless they are already able to legally open carry.
The bill advances to a Senate committee. One of the big topics later to be discussed today in a House meeting on the budget is funding for a new Mississippi River Bridge. Port Allen Senator Rick Ford is confident lawmakers will be able to move forward with plans for a new bridge before the session adjourns on June 6th. And Phoenix Suns star guard Devin Booker will reportedly not play in games 3 and 4 against the Pelicans after being injured in the Pels' stellar victory in Game 2 Tuesday. New Orleans and Phoenix tip off Game 3 at 8:30 tomorrow evening, the Pelicans' first playoff game in the blender since 2018. Michelle Southern, Talk 107.3, Baton Rouge.
This is Taylor Sharp with the latest from the Guarantee Media Traffic Center. Brought to you by Shaw Bills, where you can get up to $160 with the purchase of 4 eligible Firestone tires. Visit ShawBillsTire.com to learn more. Be advised, drivers, we do have reports of an accident on Bluebonnet Boulevard near Anselmo and Picardy Avenue. It's not causing any major delays at this time, however, you could see slight backup. The main problem is there's not a ton of ways to go around this accident. I mean, you could try to go around Mall of Louisiana Boulevard, the perimeter of the mall, and come out at that intersection. That might be your only option. Also, there's an abandoned stalled vehicle on Confidence Street near North Ardenwood Drive and Williamson Street. That shouldn't cause any major slowdowns. You should be fine if you want to pass through. As we look at our drive times on I-12, we're still seeing a little bit more volume as folks make their way into work. It's now 30 minutes due to the 10-12 split. That's the latest from the Guarantee Media Traffic Center, where reports are always brought to you by Shaw Bills. I'm Taylor Sharp reporting.
It is time.
Trade in your isolation for celebration to break out and get away. And at Baton Rouge Metro Airport, you'll get away a lot quicker. BTR is way closer, more convenient, with easy parking, check-in that's a breeze, and non-stops and short hops to anywhere you want to go. So get back to your life and be quick about it. Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time. FlyBTR.com.
How do you choose the right attorney? I give you the answers at MurphyLawFirm.com. Don't allow insurance companies to take advantage of you. Make the right decision. Don't leave money on the table. Visit MurphyLawFirm.com or call me, Attorney Peyton Murphy, at 928-8800. Main office, Baton Rouge.
GatorWorks believes that your website should be the perfect full-time salesperson, one that always looks sharp, never says the wrong thing, and is always available. If your website isn't creating more leads for your business, what is it doing? Visit our salesperson at GatorWorks.net.
Is your current home loan the right fit for you? Rising home values mean that you could have more home equity than you might imagine. And if you're considering a refi, an expertly chosen loan from Loan Depot could save you thousands. Ask about their smart term loans, cash out, and over 300 loan options to find just the right mortgage loan for you. Call now, 866-888-LOAN, or go to LoanDepot.com. Loan Depot, where home means everything. Rates are subject to change. Equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS number 174457. Licensed in all 50 states.
Ask Sherwin-Williams and get your color your way. We've made it easier than ever to try and buy color. Preview paint colors in your home with our Color Snap app. Then visit swsamples.com to have color chips delivered to your door for free. Or order some peel and stick samples to try on your wall. When you're ready to paint, shop online or stop by your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store and get everything you need.
Premier South Roofing might need to check your roof. Call 225-757-6621.
Skies will be partly cloudy and temperatures will be climbing well into the 80s today. If there's a chance for anyone to see 90 degrees, today is the day. Tonight temperatures will be in the low 60s. Friday and Saturday will be near perfect repeats of today with temperatures in the mid-80s, mostly sunny skies, and overnight conditions mostly clear with temperatures in the 60s. An isolated shower or two will be possible on Sunday ahead of our next rainmaker on Monday. Scattered showers will move in Monday afternoon, and then temperatures will be slightly cooler heading into next week. I'm meteorologist Marissa Nuzzo in the WBRZ Weather Center.
Hey everybody, Jay Ducote here from the Jay Ducote Show, 4 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday on Talk 107.3. Join us for your happy hour drive home right here on the new Hero Talk.
This is Crime Stoppers on Talk 107.3 FM.
I think I'll go catch me a bed.
Where every week we take a closer look at fighting crime, stopping crime, and crime prevention.
You really want to get him. What are you prepared to do? Everything within the law.
As always, if you have information that you think would help solve a crime, call 344-STOP.
All it takes is a phone and an open mind. No one will know. My eyes open now.
It's Crime Stoppers on Talk 107.3 FM.
Yes, Yes, it's on the Comrex side. Here we go. Yes, it is time for. We'll get there. There it is. Yes, it is time for Crime Stoppers on Talk1073.com. I moved over to another mic in the middle of the break. That's why we were a little late on the uptake there. Yeah, time for Crime Stoppers. And you heard during the intro right there, it's not just about catching the bad guys. It's also about preventing crime before it happens. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. There's a seminar coming up tonight about domestic violence. Joining me now are Captain Mays and Sergeant Cook from BRPD. Gentlemen, welcome aboard. How are you?
Oh, fine, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. Glad to have you all on here. Glad to be talking about this. I'm glad when we can do anything preventative. And I feel like that's where this is headed. So let's start with the basics. What's going on tonight?
Well, tonight we have a symposium.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to suffer in silence. It's a theme. It's tonight, Thursday, April the 21st. It's at 6 p.m. at 1252 North Acadian Thruway East at St. Mary Baptist Church.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a panelist that's going to be there to give out information. Some also going to inform people that there's some help out there for them that they might not know about. We got different centers and different places that they can go to that if they suffer from trauma or different things of that nature or counseling, need some counseling, then it's available for them.
You were showing me during the Captain Mays. You were showing me during the break who's on that panel. Let's share with the audience who all's on the panel and what kind of expertise do they bring to the table.
Okay, first panelist is Dr. Christina Ricard. We also have Attorney Ann Ritchie. We also have Deputy Chief Myron Daniels. We have Tanya Miles. We have Captain Shakita Brusoff and EBRSO. We also have Judge Erica Green. We have Miss Angela Gabriel. Ms. Tawana Harris from the Butterfly Society. We have from the District Attorney Office, Attorney Melanie Fields. From the IRS, also Ms. Keisha Robinson. And our moderator is going to be Clay Young.
Oh, okay. So, love Clay, by the way. What I'm hearing here is you've got treatment, mental health professionals, law enforcement, prosecutorial. You're putting together a pretty strong front that says, when you said you don't have to suffer in silence, you're giving them every reason, or you're removing every excuse under the sun to not speak up.
Yes, sir.
One of the main things that we've learned about through this segment and through other segments on this show is that one of the main reasons that people don't speak up when they're victims of domestic violence is the fear of repercussions. This sounds like it's going to go a long way to work on that.
Yes, sir. We just want to let everybody know that in our community, in the surrounding areas, that as BRPD, we're trying to do what we can do to have people be comfortable to approach us, and there are resources out there to help them, and that they don't have to be fearful if they're getting some things happening to them. And it's just not always physical, and it's not always female. It's also males that also go through these situations as well.
Yeah, it is. And long term, it's both female and male that end up the victims of the repercussions of this as well, or the blowback when things boil over. Sergeant Cook, tell me a little bit about what you've seen in the past of how these situations develop, how they can start very small and then escalate.
Well, to be honest, we have a lot of one-time incidents where they don't have really a history of things that have been reported. Not saying that it has not been happening, but just out the blue, someone gets arrested for something, fatal incident or something serious injuries, and we would look at the background, we found that not too many reports has been made between the two. So, but we know from my past that a lot of things go on, it just have not been reported. Then you have some situations where the person made numerous reports, but they're still together. And that goes to say that they can't get together, but they still wants to be together. They're not getting along. So what we try to do is try to intervene before it becomes serious and kind of give them counseling and resources to let them know, look, if you want to walk away, we'll kind of help you with a plan. Most women stays in a relationship for support of the other person, whether it be for child care or monetary purpose. And they just really don't want to separate. So that's where we come in at the Family Justice Center. We're trying to talk to them, try to intervene, try to help them with housing assistance, child care assistance, any type of resources that we can help to help them get on their feet and get out the situation that they're in.
How intricate is that process? Because it would feel like, from an outsider's perspective, it would feel like you're going to get hit with a million excuses as to why they can't leave. I mean, are you just having to answer all the questions until you're through the process?
And even if we answered all the questions, sometimes they're just not ready. So you have to be ready and willing to step out this relationship, this violent relationship, before it get to the point where someone get arrested or someone get seriously injured. So sometimes with even all the resources and opportunities out there, they have a lot of people, males and females, that just want to continue to stay in their relationship and try to fight it out, maybe hoping that the partner will come around to change and they can get back to a more of a healthy relationship, you know, if that's how the relationship started. So sometimes you have to come up with a plan. Sometimes these things don't happen overnight. Maybe at first we can talk about setting them up with housing, then we can set them up with child care assistance. Then the IRS also will try to help them set them up with job opportunities and how to straighten up their resume so they can live and support their own self without their spousal support or their partner support.
And secondly, sir, Mr. Brian, a lot of people don't know this is not a socio-economical type domestic violence that just happen in the lower class. It happen in all classes.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Okay. Once it's behind closed doors, who knows? What's the pitch here to get people through the front door? Because more often than not, denial is going to rule the day. To get people just to cross that threshold and walk in the room in the first place, how are we convincing those who are victims that, number one, you need to step away from your relationship just for tonight, just come over and listen? You'll learn a lot more once you get there, but how do you get them through the door in the first place?
Well, one thing about it, we got to make them feel comfortable to approach the law enforcement. I know a lot of times there's a stigma that has been attached to law enforcement that we're not, I guess we the boogeyman, so to speak. But also there's a side of us that want to help and want them to be comfortable, and not only them but their children as well. Because if this is the big picture for me, if we there at their home and we are there all night, we put someone in jail, the kids are watching and everything going on, and then the next morning they have to go to school and they can't concentrate because mom and dad been fighting all night, and somebody may went to jail, they traumatized, and then they might have a test, and we're wondering why some of our kids are going through the things they're going through because of domestic violence that happened, and some of it's not even being reported, and the kids had to carry their weight into the school system. So hopefully that someone can say, hey, let me just do the right thing. Maybe not even if I want to do for myself, let me do it for my family, my kids, that can be better off down the line.
Is tonight's symposium for the abused or the abuser? Or both?
It could be for both. Yes.
Because I would think that if you can get, Sergeant Cook had mentioned salvaging relationships along the way. This isn't just about punishing people for doing wrong, but if you can get both working together and get them both towards a better outcome, that would seem the ideal. It might be a little bit idealistic, but would be the ideal.
Correct. As far as law enforcement, we don't want to break up a home.
Right.
We just don't want to have two people together that can't get along and they constantly calling the police. And like Captain May say, it becomes a tragedy moment, not only for them going back and forth, but also for their kids as well, which we do have counseling for kids as well if they might have been traumatized for seeing mom and dad fighting, or maybe witness something that maybe carry on to them for the rest of their lives. So we do have counseling for kids as well.
What's going on tonight? Give us the details one more time before we get y'all out of here, just to make sure everybody knows where they need to go if they're signing up. Or do you have to sign up ahead of time or just show up?
Just show up, sir.
Give us the address again.
It's 1252 North Acadian Thruway East here in Baton Rouge. It's at 6 p.m. It's at St. Mary Baptist Church. We have everybody that wants to be a part there to help in different facets, whatever dynamics they have going on in their life, we're here to address it.
Multiple resources from multiple agencies, from a law enforcement end, from a prosecutorial end, from the end that's just there to help, like the Butterfly Society and whatnot, that is there for abused women to begin with. Guys, I can't tell you how much I appreciate y'all coming in today. What you mentioned, police being the boogeyman. It's events like this that are coming back in the wake of COVID that will help bridge that gap a good deal and help really accelerate y'all's work. Thank you so much for hopping on board. You've been listening to the Crime Stopper segment as part of Mornings with Brian Haldane. He is Captain Mays and Sergeant Cook. Thank y'all so much.
Welcome, sir.
Absolutely. We got to get you to your money now. Haven't told you yet about the Dreams Come True Radiothon this morning, presented by the Baton Rouge Clinic. It's going on all month long at talk1073.com. You could be a difference maker here. You can help make a dream come true for a child in Louisiana who's battling a life-threatening illness. Presented by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Check it out at talk1073.com. Here's your money now.
Thank you, sir.
Very much.
All right.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
All right,
Great
thank
deal.
you.
It's yeah, it's so good to see events coming back again in all forms, and this is going to be
Yes, sir.
y'all are getting work done.
Appreciate it, sir.
All right, thank you for having us.
Thank y'all very much.
All right, John. Yes, sir. Brian, I'll see you, if not before, next week.
Yes, sir.
And appreciate it. Y'all be good.
Take care, sir. Good to see you. All right, where are we at here? Always talking higher education. Some kids left behind because parents cannot afford a tutor and they're lost and struggling. Dropout rates are terrible. Dropout rates are terrible. Absolutely. And yeah, once they get to higher, if they've made it to college, like they're on cruise control at that point, right? Early education, early childhood education, which my party has a lot of hesitancy to buy in on, it would be a game changer. Storm Warning says dropout rates are terrible because school attendance has become an option for students instead of their main focus. Heavy. Too many parents don't care, instead asking teachers to perform their role. Also true. Not fight for, fight the, yeah. See, their parents are a joke. They want to be their child's friend, not their leader, advisor, or mentor. Discipline is dead. Discipline's a tough word, though, because discipline can mean a million different things. But yeah, discipline by and large is downgraded. I don't know if I'm going as far to say dead, depending on the family. Thank you, Cade. I appreciate it. And I apologize for being off the ball with the Netflix drop, the Netflix sounder. I'm not used to that level of perfection, sir. That level of game.
Accutemp is extending its free premium clean air package through April. Get your free air scrubber and media cabinet with your AC install before it's too late. That's over $1,800 of virus and germ protection. Let your AC do your spring cleaning for you with Accutemp. Service to the highest degree.
Diabetes is an epidemic.
Honestly,
More than 37
Like, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, and
and half a million of them live in
he's got the Corvids.
Diabetes cost our state.
As Condon said at the beginning of the pandemic, the Corvids. So,
In fact, 1 in 4 people with diabetes say they have to ration their insulin. There's nothing insulin glucose would dramatically reduce the cost of insulin for people living with diabetes by establishing a $35 monthly out-of-pocket cap for insulin, regardless of where someone gets their insurance. As a longtime advocate for lower drug prices, Senator Bill Cassidy
there's no way he's not going to be called Spicoli. I mean, his name is Piccoli. So, meanwhile, y'all ass has got me spoiled. Kill the mic.
paid for by the American Diabetes Association.
This is Taylor Sharp with the latest from the Guarantee Media Traffic Center. Brought to you by Shaw Bills, where you can get up to $160 with the purchase of 4 eligible Firestone tires. Visit ShawBillsTire.com to learn more. We're still seeing that accident on Bluebonnet Boulevard between Anselmo and Picardy Avenue. You may see a little bit of slowdowns, but nothing major at this time. Also, there's an accident on Highland Road between Jean Lafitte Avenue and Countryside Drive. It is in the roadway. However, you could use Piku Lane if you wanted to avoid it altogether as kind of a cut-through. Another incident that shouldn't cause any major delays, but just something to keep an eye on. A stalled vehicle in the roadway, Confident Street at North Archwood Drive.
Morning, Nyquilus. We had your Hushitu subdivision in the top stories and trending this morning. There's the big old pooper. We need at-large council members. Hold on, I'm coming. 7:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Thanks again to Captain Mays and Sergeant Cook. I really hope tonight's symposium shows some level of success, if not just overall success. It's too much of domestic violence and police work involved with domestic violence is reactive. This is proactive. And the crazy thing is there's no way to quantify results, because if something doesn't happen, which is the hope, right? When it comes to domestic violence, you want the violence to not happen. If the violence doesn't happen, there's no way to say this moment in time, this night over at off of North Acadian, there's no way to determine what it was that turned the corner. It's the problem with a holistic approach to things. You don't get the closed loop on it to know where the plug was put in the leak. Nonetheless, though, you don't take your foot off the gas either. So good on them, good on the work they're doing. And that list of panelists that they mentioned, I mean, it covers all aspects. So anyway, if you missed the segment, it'll be available on demand at talk1073.com as the show wears on. But right now is the portion of the show where we step outside of East Baton Rouge Parish. It's a little segment we call The Outside In.
It's time to step outside of East Baton Rouge and get inside our surrounding parishes. The Outside In, presented by BRPT Lake. With 6 locations and extended hours to fit your needs, BRPT Lake has got you covered. Schedule online now at brptlake.com. The Outside In is coming your way now.
We gotta get out of this town! Yeah, and go where? Where are we gonna go?
Today we start in LaSalle Parish. A correctional officer was arrested Wednesday after committing a, quote, prohibited sexual act while in a prisoner's presence, authorities say. According to Louisiana State Police, 36-year-old Jason Cotherman was arrested, charged with malfeasance in office. Either sadly or mercifully, troopers did not release any information on the specifics of Cotherman's actions. Prohibited sexual act while in a prisoner's presence. Down at Plaquemines Parish, we learned yesterday that someone set fire to Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser's home while burglarizing it. Well, according to WWL-TV and our own Michelle Southern, who was reporting news a little while ago, 2 people were arrested in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and charged for the crime. Lieutenant Governor moved to Covington after Hurricane Ida destroyed his home. He was in the process of moving his belongings to his new home when the burglary happened. Plaquemines Parish authorities are investigating. Over in West Baton Rouge Parish, DOTD says a portion of Ernest Wilson Drive under the Intercoastal Bridge will be closed for road work starting tomorrow evening. That closure will take place from Capitol Drive to Mahaffey Road for road work relating to the bridge replacement. DOTD says a total closure will start 7 p.m. Friday, April 22nd until 6 a.m. Monday, April 25th. Another total closure will take place 7 p.m. the next Friday until 6 a.m. the following Monday. According to information shared by DOTD in February, Ernest Wilson Drive and Highway 1 will be realigned to connect with the new bridge. The Intercoastal Bridge project will be divided into phases with the goal of completion by 2026. Closing out in Jefferson Parish, a story we tried to tap in on a little while ago, earlier in the week. When Jefferson Parish residents head to the polls for spring elections, they'll be looking at a proposed $7 million property tax increase. What for? To give deputies with the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office a 20% raise. Now, 20% might sound like quite the jump, and $7 million might sound equally as bold, but officials note that deputies haven't seen a raise since the year after Hurricane Katrina, and the parish hasn't voted on a millage increase in well over 25 years. Meanwhile, the department struggles to recruit, while other law enforcement departments in the surrounding areas are offering more lucrative pay, combined with less strenuous workloads. That's the Outside In. Here comes CBS News on Talk 107.3. Oh, that's my point. I'd have to move, and when I do move, it'll be out of VBR, possibly Louisiana. Don't say that, dude. You're staying. Were you able to get in any this thing? Oh, you're clearly writing it right now. Oh, cool. Cool. Burfum days. Got a bunch. Okay, I get to make an Encanto joke during birthdays. Don't spend any time trying to piece it together. She hit the wrong button. It happens. Is that Dennis Leary? Good for him. I miss him. Frantic pace to get this done. 805 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way. In just a second, let me give you that forecast real quick to knock out the it's going to be warmer today, and that trend's going to continue on into the weekend. We are looking at a high of 86 today, and that's where it's going to hang out tomorrow, Saturday as well. High in the mid-80s all 3 days, low in the lower 60s all 3 nights. Now, when you get to Sunday, we got a 64% chance of rain Sunday, 60% chance of rain on Monday as well, and it's looking like that's going to reset cooler temperatures for about a day. Yeah, the cooler temps are starting to lose the battle. It's that point in the spring right now where the cooler temperatures start to lose the battle just a little bit. As far as when are we expecting that weather on Sunday, looking like the chance of rain actually starts around midday Sunday, around 11 a.m., so got to be a glorious Saturday. A little bit on the warm side, but a glorious Saturday for the Baton Rouge Blues Fest. Sunday might be battling some clouds, if not full-on rain as well. Right now, we are at 70 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. We've got Jordan Faircloth this hour. He's running for judge. And, Chuck, you ever talk to oh, by the way, Cade's out, Chuck's in.
Hey, guys.
Tag team in this one, huh?
Doing it.
I like it.
Taking care of you, man. Taking care.
I appreciate that. Cade was in for the Hot Take Jake segment.
The Hot Take Jake segment.
Oh, so every Thursday we do a Hot Take Jake.
Okay.
Where Barty gets to present us with a hot take. Cade brought the heat this morning.
Really?
Oh.
I have to go back and listen to it.
Oh, yeah. I'll give you the long and the short of it. He had a very detailed and very well-reasoned and argued explanation behind it.
Okay.
But you know how the English Premier League in soccer has relegation?
Yes.
Like if you suck, you're out. We all learned about this from Ted Lasso.
Right. It's true.
The NFL needs relegation.
Oh, I like that.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Jacksonville. Sorry, Detroit.
Yeah. Bye,
sorry, Jets. Hey, Cleveland's winning.
Yeah,
they're middle of the pack these days.
Yeah.
Anyway, Hot Take Jake had a hotter take Cade this morning. Yeah, it was solid. So Chuck P is going to drive us home for the rest of the show, and then drive us home this afternoon with the Jay Dakota Show.
Yes.
How about that?
Live from Calandra's Supermarket on Government.
Bro, y'all are out on the road a lot. I'm liking it.
Yeah, me too.
I'm liking it. That's where it should be, man.
Agreed.
Amongst the people.
Yeah, you as well. You need to be out amongst the people.
So that's going to be few and far between because everybody's got stuff going on in the morning.
Fair.
I'm not going to be in like somebody's, morning routine.
You got to go to Jimmy Out route and just do restaurants. You get breakfast in the morning, and like that. That'll entice people to come.
Even that, it's going to be a drive-through.
Hey, look, I'll set up at Whataburger with you. Get some taquitos.
We're not starting with them.
All right.
No. By the way, have you seen the new Whataburger over there on Burbank?
Oh yes, I've visited.
Oh, the new McDonald's opens like today.
Oh, does it?
Right next door. Yeah.
You got 3 burger spots right there next to each other. Atomic
Burger,
Whataburger, McDonald's.
Atomic Burger. Side note. Have you the Nashville hot chicken at Atomic Burger?
I have not. No.
Yeah, underrated.
Okay.
Very underrated.
I'll try it next time.
All right. Jordan Faircloth is running for judge. He's going to join us in our next segment. After that, you ever talked to a White House chef before?
No.
That's happening at 8:40 this morning. Andre Rush, author of the memoir, Call Me Chef, damn it. Okay. White House chef under 4 different presidents. Clinton, Bush, Obama, and Trump.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to this one a lot. I want the lowdown and the dirty on what goes on behind the scenes, like who's the nicest, who's the most formal, who is digging into Bluebell ice cream after midnight,
Yeah.
He's a White House chef for crying out loud.
What did he say to Trump when he asked for a well-done steak?
That's Does Trump like a well-done steak?
With ketchup!
No.
Yes.
He feels like he seems like he'd be a raw meat guy. No, completely the other way around.
I read he likes well-done steaks. With
ketchup.
Well,
if you read it.
I mean, it's the internet. Why would that be true?
Exactly. That's all coming up later on the show. We are already late for this day in history. Let's get it.
Marty, you've got to come back with me.
Where?
A long, long time ago.
Who's coming with me? We have to go back, Kate. We have to go back.
Say, kids, what time is it?
It's time for Disdain History.
All right, so this morning's This Day in History, Brian, was prepared by Cade. I was going to come in here
and just hand it off to you?
I was going to come in here and take care of it, and he's already done it for me.
That is glorious, dude.
What a guy right there, right?
Yeah.
So let's kick things off going way back. 1753 BC on this day in history. Romulus and his twin brother Remus founded Rome on the site where they were suckled by a she-wolf as orphaned infants.
I don't think we need anything further on that.
Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up right there.
Suckled by a what?
A she-wolf.
A she-wolf.
Yes. All
right.
This seems like a good spot to create a city.
Yeah.
This day in history, 1836, Texas militia routs Mexicans in the Battle of San Jacinto. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
During the Texas War for Independence, the Texas militia under Sam Houston launches a surprise attack against the forces of Mexican generals Santa Anna along the San Jacinto River. The Mexicans were thoroughly defeated and hundreds were taken prisoner, including General Santa Anna himself.
After they were suckled by a she-wolf.
Yes, apparently. They left that little bit out.
Yeah.
This day in history, 1966, a sip-in takes place at Julius's bar, in New York City this afternoon on April 21st, 1966. A bar crawl in New York's West Village leads to an important early moment in the gay liberation movement.
Okay.
And what will be dubbed the sip-in. Three gentlemen publicly identify themselves as gay and demand to be served anyway, challenging the unofficial but widespread practice of banning gay customers from bars. Lastly, on this day in history, the yellow ribbon has long been a symbol of support for absent or missed loved ones. There are some who believe that the tradition of the yellow ribbon dates back as far as the Civil War era. When a yellow ribbon in a woman's hair indicated that she was taken by a man who was absent due to service in the United States Army Cavalry. The Library of Congress itself traces the cultural ubiquity of this powerful symbol to the well-known song by Tony Orlando and Dawn, Tie a Yellow Ribbon Around the Old Oak Tree, which topped the U.S. pop charts on this day in 1973.
Yeah, I talked about that when we had Tony Orlando on the show.
Wait, you had Tony Orlando on the show?
Had Tony Orlando on the show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Hey, this day in 1977, since we got Jordan Faircloth coming up in a little bit, I got a baseball note for you.
All right.
This day in 1977, Billy Martin literally pulled the Yankees lineup out of a hat.
Wow.
Literally pulled the lineup out of a hat and beat the Blue Jays 8-6.
What if all coaches did that from now on?
I would love that.
Put a bunch of names in a hat and just start pulling people
first
out.
of all, no. So here's why. From a fantasy perspective, it would be untenable. You can't do that.
Sure you can.
No, you can't.
Be fun.
Dude, I lost. I had a 7-leg parlay day before yesterday, where Max Scherzer would have more than 7 strikeouts. The Mets would win on the money line. The under at 7.5. Pete Alonso would get a hit. Francisco Lindor would get a hit, and Robinson Cano would get a hit. Robinson Cano did not get a hit, and I lost my damn parlay. You can't pull a lineup out of a hat.
Fair enough.
Although I guess it would have avoided that bet if it would have gone that way.
Yeah,
so.
true. Moving on to birthdays today. Top of the list. Queen.
And yeah, I'm the sucker for putting in a
You are
7-leg
sucker.
parlay.
Yeah, that's right.
It had to happen. Hey, this day in 2001.
Oh, you got another. All right.
No, this day in 2001. Virginia Tech quarterback Michael Vick drafted #1 overall by the Atlanta Falcons. I only tell you that because it lets me remind you that our sister station 104.5 ESPN has their draft coverage coming up.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, going to be on location at Don Juan Cigars.
Yeah.
I believe I have that right.
Yeah, that's right. Don Juan Cigars. That's where they'll be. Birthdays, top of the list. Queen Elizabeth II.
Yep.
Born this day, 1926. Iggy Pop, punk rock legend.
Ooh.
Born this day, 1947. Who's the boss? Tony Danza is the boss. He was born this day in 1951.
Angela. That's my Tony Danza impression.
Do that again?
Angela.
That's
Angela.
It almost sounds like Balboa.
It does sound like Rocky Balboa.
Yeah. Robert Smith, lead singer for The Cure, born this day, 1959. Comedian Rob Riggle, born this day, 1970. Actor James McAvoy, born 1979.
Who's he? What did he play?
James McAvoy. He was Professor X in the new X-Men movies.
Okay.
And football's own Tony Romo, born this day, 1980.
Tony Romo, born on the that's where Cowboys fans see. Encanto covered a Cowboys song. The movie Encanto. The song used to be "We Don't Talk About Romo."
They just changed it.
Yeah, they just changed it to
copyright
Bruno.
reasons.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yep. Also, you got more birthdays?
No, that's it. Go ahead. What you got?
Former Auburn running back and Tampa Bay Buccaneers running back Cadillac Williams, born on this day in 1982.
Oh, wow, okay.
I got 2 LSU guys for you.
Go ahead.
Blake Ferguson. He's now the Dolphins deep snapper.
That sounds right.
Born on this day in 1997, the same time Blake Ferguson was being born, Craig Nall was taking the field, or taking the sideline, I should say. Backing up Herb Tyler, then backing up Josh Booty and Rohan Davey before transferring over to Northwestern State. It's Craig Nall's birthday as well.
Wow, all right. Moving on to deaths. Mark Twain died on this day in 1910. Manfred von Richthofen.
Yeah.
Probably said that wrong. A.K.A. the Red Baron.
Oh, cool.
Died this day, 1918, at the age of 25.
I always thought that was Snoopy.
Yeah, we all thought that. Jimmy the Greek Snyder died on this day in 1996. Singer Nina Simone died on this day in 2003. And lastly, but definitely not least, Prince Rogers Nelson passed away on this day, 2016.
Forgot to mention, Timothy McVeigh was arrested on this day in 1995.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
for the Oklahoma City bombing.
Your national holidays today, it's National Tea Day, National Yellow Bat Day, National Bulldogs Are Beautiful Day.
They are not.
National Kindergarten Day, and National High Five Day.
High five!
Self high five. It's a little DDP wrestling reference right there. But that's it. That's your day in history.
All right, we're already running late. Jordan Faircloth is running for judge. He joins us next on Talk 107.3. All right, come on over, man.
What's going on?
Bro.
Good to see y'all again.
Doing well.
Turn it off. Folks invariably want to call when the most inopportune time.
Always. Always. So early voting is well underway.
Early voting is well underway. I haven't seen the totals from yesterday, but as of Tuesday, there were approximately 3,000 votes in terms of early voters and absentee, according to the Secretary of State. Which, how does that compare to the first go-around? I wish I had that readily available. The issue that makes it difficult to compare is, the first go-around there were other things on the ballot. So I'd actually have to go and find the precincts and the wards and extrapolate and add them up, and that's a task I'm just not willing to do at this point. But I think 3,000 is probably about expected, not a terrible number.
Election day itself is going to be next Saturday.
Next Saturday, April 30th. There's a whole lot going on. A whole lot.
There's one thing going on. It's one thing going on that matters, and that's Garth Brooks.
Correct. And that's what I tell folks, friends, colleagues, whatever. Look, I don't know if you're a country music fan, may or may not be, but Garth Brooks is going to be in Tiger Stadium. There's going to be 100,000 people there. It's going to be traffic like a football game. There's just going to be a lot of folks from out of town. Go vote early. Go at lunch on a Wednesday whenever you're sitting in your office thinking, okay, I need to get out and go do something for my lunch break. All right, go vote. It takes 5 minutes. If it takes 5 minutes, that's taking too long. It probably takes 2 minutes.
As long as it takes for the poll worker to write down your name, because it's like literally the only thing on the ballot.
It literally is. A good friend of mine texted me yesterday before he was going to vote. He goes, "Okay, I'm going to vote for you. What else is on the ballot I should be aware of? Anything I should look into, prepare for, or research?" And by the time I got to respond to him, he'd already said, "Nope, never mind. I'm sorry. That's the only thing on the ballot." Okay, that was easy.
Yeah, everything else was settled last time around, and I got to learn that I'm not in y'all's district. I live in 70815.
Yep.
I'm in Sherwood.
Sherwood. Yeah, that's literally dividing line.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people, and I had people at least initially, "Hey, bring me a sign. I want to put a sign in my yard." "All right, where do you live?" "I'll bring you a sign, but you don't live in the voting district, unfortunately."
Yeah.
"I don't. I thought this was parish-wide." No, it's half the battle's been educating friends, family, others that this is the voting district, this is the election date. It's
yeah. $819 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. So earlier in the week, we had Brad Myers on. He made the runoff for the 19th JDC, trying to fill William Morvanth's seat. The other fella in that runoff is Jordan Faircloth, who joins me right now. Jordan, welcome back, man. How are you?
I'm great.
Let's get you right up on this.
Right there. It's good to be here. Appreciate the opportunity. I'd be remiss. You mentioned Craig Knoll.
I did.
Birthday. Former high school teammate of mine from Alexandria, Alexandria Senior High. So
I should have put that together.
You know, he's older than I. He was a senior when I was a freshman. But to hear him in the birthdays was kind of
there you go.
Craig the real deal Knoll.
The real deal Knoll.
That was.
Normally, when your nickname's the real deal, it somehow rhymes with either your first or last name.
Right.
Like if it were Neil the real deal or Craig the real deal Neil, like it just
yes.
There's no rhyme nor reason.
No rhyme nor reason, and you know, as a freshman, hearing that, I was like, okay, he's a senior. I'll just that's what they
run
call
with
him.
it. Yeah, all right. So he backed up Herb Tyler, and then it was all Josh Booty and Rohan Davey after that. There was no getting in that mix.
The writing was on the wall the day that Booty committed to sign.
Mm-hmm.
It was, sorry, you can do Brett Favre.
Yeah,
Tom Brady rolled into one.
I think Craig got like 1 or 2. I remember he played against Arkansas and just like the offensive line clocked out, clocked out and went home. Poor dude was on his back more than he was on his feet.
If you recall, when we played Notre Dame at Notre Dame, he came in late and had a couple. He let her drive.
4th down and
he had a pass.
Dropped the pass.
I think it was Abram Booty who. It was a contested pass, but perhaps a catchable pass.
Yeah,
I still remember that because that could have been, man, you lead the comeback at Notre Dame. Shoot, maybe you are the starter for.
Abram Booty sabotaged him for his brother to move in later, right?
There we
That's
go.
how it happened. All right, we've actually got business to talk here.
Yep.
You are running for judge in the 19th JDC. Early voting is open right now. I want to start by, for those that missed the last time you were on, give us the platform, give us the talking points, give us who Jordan Faircloth is with a little bio.
Okay. Originally from Alexandria, moved down here for college, played baseball at LSU, played on Skip's last team, then went smoke for 4 years. I tell folks I was good enough to play at LSU, not good enough to play after LSU. So went to LSU Law School right thereafter, graduated, and started working here, a large defense firm downtown, was there for 11-plus years. Moved to another firm, Taylor Wellens, where I currently am now, practicing all manners of litigation, pretty much anything under the sun that could or go or may go to court. I've dealt with and had experience with. And you know, whenever Judge Morvan announced he was going to retire, it was one of those, you know, stop, pause. Let's see if this is something that I want to do. And after a lot of thought and prayer, consideration, talking to folks, I made the decision. Hey, we're all in. And the reasons that kind of pushed me over the edge were, you know, from a practical standpoint, a practicing attorney, understanding and seeing how important a competent judiciary is to not only the folks practicing law every day, the attorneys, but the parties, the individuals, the businesses, and the public at large. With a strong judicial system, strong judiciary, it's one of the high tide rises all boats situation. So that was one. And the second was, you know, something that is still hammering us today. It's the ongoing issues we have in East Baton Rouge, and it's not a soundbite. It's not parenting. It's the violent crime issue. I've married my wife here, 2 kids here, our careers here. We're gonna live here.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna be one who, you know, pardon the sports pun, who sits on the sideline and just moans and groans and doesn't do anything about it. I'm going to get in the game and do something about it. So the judiciary is the avenue I feel that I could best help and try to push back against the issues, particularly of the violent crime. So those 2 things combined have, you know, led me to make that decision. And since the campaign started, gosh, I've talked to a lot of people. I've, you know, knocked on a lot of doors. I've met with a lot of folks. I've called a lot of people, not just friends, but just strangers out of the blue, from your CEOs, presidents of these big companies to, you know, retiree just living at their house and just wants a safer place to live in. And repeatedly, that is the question is, you know, what are we going to do about this? I mean, how are we going to try to fix this problem? And my response is, look, obviously the judiciary has a role to play, absolutely has a role to play. It's not the only role, because that's not the way the system's designed.
No.
A good judge should come in and just eradicate the violent crime problem. That's not the way the system was designed, and frankly not the way the system should be. So I guess it kind of leads to my next point. Well, what do you do? What can you do?
No, that's the next question
right.
is, your role in the judiciary, but what physically can you do from the bench?
Absolutely, and there's a lot of things. It's, I guess, the low-hanging
I'm
fruit.
sorry. I just thought of the sports fund. You're looking to get off the sideline but on the bench.
I never thought about that. Gosh, I could have used that in a campaign slogan somewhere. My goodness. My
Make Jordan Faircloth a bench warmer.
My campaign guy might steal that from you.
Go for it. It's yours.
But like the low-hanging fruit, moving the docket, not just civil but criminal. Distinguishing, okay, what's the serious issues? What's the violent criminal issues? What are those that need the attention? What are the other maybe misdemeanors that we can usher through and get off the docket? I read an article in I think it was The Advocate in New Orleans. I forgot who wrote it last week. 54% of folks arrested were released because they weren't prosecuted, moved through the system in time, and pretty much the timing expired for them to move on it. So those people were released out. How do you prevent that?
Right.
That's an avenue. And
we have Hiller Moore on the show every so often, and he talks about his backlog right now,
Yes.
and COVID exacerbated all of it.
Yep.
He was backed up before COVID, and now it's just that much worse at this point.
Right. And COVID, the ongoing crime issues, certainly the judiciary has a defined, let's say, a limited role. But there are unlimited opportunities, and there's particularly unlimited opportunities for good leadership.
Mhm.
Having someone in there on the bench who wants to push everybody in the same direction, because we all want the same thing. We want a safer place for our family, our community. We all want the same thing. How do we get there? Okay, well, the judiciary plays the role, strong leadership. Okay, what are the tools that you need in the legislature, the DAs? How do we all get on the same page and not have these silos or walls of lack of communication where it's the finger point. Well, if so and so did this for me, or so and so did this for me, or if they did this right, then we wouldn't have these issues. It's what Skip said all the time. The number one greatest pastime in America, TOB, transfer of blame.
Mhm.
Not my fault, your fault. The citizens are looking for leadership, and that is the judiciary is not excluded from that.
Baton Rouge Police Chief Murphy Paul has said repeatedly, if there's a microphone or camera in front of his face, you're going to hear this at some point. My guys are tired of arresting the same people over and over again. Earlier this week, a woman was killed on Sherwood Forest Boulevard, or just off Sherwood Forest Boulevard, on Facebook Live. The guy who posted that Facebook Live, the guy who confessed to that killing, was arrested, 2005 arrested for armed robbery in 2007. He was out. He got a 15-year sentence with credit for time served. He was released from prison in January. He's one of the examples of the people who were just repeatedly back around. From the bench, what can you do to curtail that?
Absolutely. And the same issue with Perkins Road, the repeat offender.
Much longer time span and many more,
I think you have to really dial in and make sure that the punishment is fitting the crime. Certainly, there are, limitations of what you can do, but there's discretionary measures where, you know what, this person has this history, this person just committed this crime, this violent crime, which is, I think, the big issue. All right, well, the punishment needs to be more weighed heavily against letting somebody like that out.
Yeah.
Talking from a voter's perspective and not taking off my political hat, so to speak, that is the number one thing. We have all these violent criminals, and it seems like all of them were just arrested and let out. Well, why is that? Can you do something? Yeah, bail should be should fit what the crime is, and that is something that has to be, it can't just be sign a paper, okay, move on, and if something happens, the person gets out, okay, we'll deal with it after the fact. It's got to kind of try to be handled on the front end.
Mhm.
That doesn't happen.
Got 2 minutes left.
Okay.
Jordan Faircloth, who's running for judge in the 19th JDC, replacing William Morvant's seat. What separates you from your competition?
Well, this issue, moving East Baton Rouge Parish in the right direction, it's not a short-term fix. It's not a Band-Aid where you can put this on there and in 2 years, hey, boom. This is going to take a long-term commitment solution from everybody. Leadership, not just in the judiciary, but everybody. We all want to pull in the same direction. I have the want to, the desire, the capacity, the work ethic to do that, to play a role, to provide the leadership that is necessary to get us where we all want to go.
He is Jordan Faircloth. The election is actually not this Saturday, it's next Saturday. Early voting is open through this Saturday. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that next Saturday there are other things going on in Baton Rouge. One thing really big in particular. So if you're heading out, if you're waiting till election day to head out to the polls, make your plans ahead of time. Vote, then Garth Brooks, not the other way around.
I tell all of my friends, family, folks I talk to, hey, election day is on the same day as Garth Brooks. You may not like Garth Brooks, you may love Garth Brooks, but go early vote.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it on election day. And if you do wait till election day, do it first thing. So.
Congrats on making the runoff, and good luck in the upcoming election. It is going to be coming around, like we said, a little more than a week from now. He is Jordan Faircloth. I really appreciate the time, man. Thanks for stopping by.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Yes, sir. We are going to take a quick break here. Before we take that break, though, I got to remind you about the Dreams Come True Radiothon. It continues right now at Talk1073.com. Continues all month long. Partnered up with the Baton Rouge Clinic and a number of other great sponsors. Complete Collision's one that I like to bring up because they sponsor this show as well. Dreams Come True helps grant dreams to local children battling life-threatening illnesses. We're doing this all month long. Learn more at Talk1073.com. There is no donation too small, no donation too big either. Dreams Come True Radiothon going on right now. All righty. Thank you much.
What I didn't want to take any more time on air, but in speaking about
okay.
And talking about your fantasy team and Billy Martin drawing names out of a hat.
Yeah.
There was a book on Tony La Russa, like 3 days in August or 4 nights in August, something like that. And it was just, I forgot who the writer was. They were with him for 4 days for a series and just saw all of his machinations, all how he went about his process. And he agonized about his lineup. Like, agonized, lost sleep. Like, oh my, like, kind of weird reading it. It's like, and he even admitted
Tony La Russa in the 90s. You had Henderson, Canseco, McGuire.
You had all the guys.
You had Terry Steinbach behind the plate.
Cardinals. You won the World Series. And he even admitted in the book that, there were times I agonized for hours on the lineup. And the very first inning, we're the home team, and the other team goes up 7-0 in the first, and it's like, why did I waste all my time thinking about that? Or vice versa, you agonize and you kind of just throw it out there, and that's the lineup that sticks. It's
right. Crazy.
Neither here nor there, but when you said Billy Martin, I thought about that because Tigers need to win this weekend. They need 3 out of 3.
But Ryan Schimpf was up here yesterday recording some spots.
Yeah, good guy.
Yeah,
good guy.
I'd never met him before, which I'd been wanting to because we went to the same high school. Obviously not at the
St.
same.
Paul's.
Yeah,
That's right.
Not at the same time, but I mean, I was like instantly transported back in my mind to Heap Field, right on campus. And just I was like, damn.
It's
now I got because he was asking me if I knew a couple of the guys that he knew and whatnot because there was I was 95 when I graduated, so
you're like, wait, 95? How old are you? Oh gosh.
Yeah. But we had a couple guys that kind of bridged the gap in between. They were like freshmen when I was a senior type of thing. Just think about those. Baseball's just so romantic. It's impossible to walk away from the sport.
Absolutely. I'm a Cubs fan, so I have the MLB TV. So, when I'm not campaigning, at night, what are you doing? Like, well, the Cubs game's on. It's in the background if I'm dealing with my family, kids, whatever. But it's in the background to watch, or I'll listen to it on the radio. If I'm cutting grass on the weekend doing my yard work, I'll listen to the Cubs game on the radio, and
awesome.
It's just the sounds and all the like you said, the romanticism of baseball is just different.
Yeah.
And
it's weird though. You said you have 2 kids?
Yeah.
How old?
2 boys, 3 and 1.
So, I played baseball from the time I was 8 until after my senior year of high school. Like, if I had not gone to LSU, I might have had a shot somewhere else. But I can't imagine my kid playing baseball in today's pay-for-play travel ball environment.
I have a lot of friends my age whose kids are older and in that world, and it's nonstop, and not just during what we think of as baseball
political.
Season. I've heard stories about, I'm like, well, is little Johnny's not playing on that team anymore? No, well, they kind of kicked him off the team and got somebody else in. I'm like, well, aren't all they friends? They all go to the same school, they're buddies, and they kicked him off. Yeah, they needed a catcher and found somebody who's a little bit better. I'm like, well, that's terrible. I mean, growing up, that was, you play with your buddies that you'd known since you're 7, you played t-ball with all the way through high school or junior high whenever folks stop playing. And, yeah, some guys are better than others. You know who the good guys are. But, you want to win. But looking back now, it's like, man, I wouldn't trade winning weekend tournaments with better players that I don't know for the experiences I had with your guys.
Right.
It's
yeah. Like when I was coming up, we played in Mandeville, and you had the league, and then you had the all-star team. But now every team is an all-star team because you're buying your way onto it,
and you're traveling all over. It's look that fate is probably going to meet me sooner rather than later. Those decisions, and like I know what my position is and my worldview on that is. It's just everybody says, look, it's hard to not get sucked in like anything else. Everybody else is doing it. Well, if you don't do it, if little Johnny doesn't do it, then he's going to be on this team by himself and not know anybody, and he's not going to get better. And
Well, get ready for it because it's going to be here sooner than you think.
Yep.
My 5-year-old played T-ball at Traction. Then we opted not to play T-ball at YMCA. And then when T-ball at Traction came back around, other parents from the team says he's already fallen way too far behind. You want to hear F-bombs fly out of my mouth at a rapid pace?
It's like it would take everything within me to not be a violent criminal at that point. It's like,
yeah.
you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
What are we talking about here?
Right.
What are we talking about here?
Yeah.
This isn't the high school select team. Okay, whatever. They're high school. They're maybe going to play. These are kids. We're trying to get them to learn the game, love the game, learn the lessons from the game. Winning the tournament each weekend should be like the 40th thing, the 40th goal.
Going to the tournament on a travel ball team is, to me, that's where it's walking up and down the hallways of the hotel with your buddies. It's, getting in a little bit of trouble, not a lot of trouble. Just that's where it's at.
And the life lessons of, look, every team you're on, it's not going to be a team of all-stars. When you go to work, you go to school, anywhere else, there's going to be your leaders, your strong folks, your folks who maybe aren't as strong, but they have their own things they bring to the table. It's learning how to deal with that and address that and not just kicking folks to the curb simply because, man, he can't hit that well, so I don't want to be his friend. He stinks, blah, blah, blah.
Crazy thing is, 2 of my best friends from high school still make their living off of baseball. 840, yes. Yeah. And look, the booking, one of those agency ones, so the guy who books it is going to call in and say, please hold for Andre Rush, and then they'll get Andre on the phone. And he'll give me an out time, too, because I don't know if I have 8 minutes or 9. 837 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. The intent was to talk about the campaign during the break. We just talked baseball.
I was worried. You started off talking about baseball, and I was like,
"You're never going to be able to reel this back."
Yeah,
in.
it's gonna go off on a tangent,
Yeah.
and then it's gonna be 3 minutes left. Oh, let's talk about your.
Yeah, well, you know what? Honestly, better conversation.
Fair.
I talked about baseball from a parental perspective, from a reminiscing perspective.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube if you missed out. Mornings with Brian Haldane on YouTube. Did I say Mornings with Brian Haldane?
You said Mornings with Brian Haldane.
Okay.
You didn't even say your last name right.
I am to the point where I'm getting my own name wrong.
Should I go get you some coffee? You
I don't. Are there any more Red Bulls? I think there's 2 more in the upstairs fridge.
Okay.
You know what? We're close enough to the finish line.
Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Hey, we are looking at a warming trend over the next couple days. Highs in the mid-80s. The humidity is coming back. Might need to crank on that AC in the car throughout the rest of the week. Heading into the weekend, Saturday's going to be downright glorious. If you're going to the spring game, if you're going to the Baton Rouge Blues Fest, if you're heading out to the Box or Tiger Park, it's going to be absolutely glorious on Saturday. Sunday, midday, is when the chance of rain rolls in. And it's going to be with us for a little over a day. It's about a 50-50 shot at rain Sunday and Monday. Don't look for much of a cooling trend to come out of it, though. We're only going to dip below the 80s for one day before it's right back to it in the 80s on Tuesday and Wednesday. Right now, we're at 72 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. We're about a minute away from speaking with a White House chef. I've been looking forward to this since I booked it on Monday. Andre Rush is a former White House chef and decorated combat veteran. He's got his memoirs coming out. They're called, the memoirs called Call Me Chef, damn it. A Veteran's Journey from the Rural South to the White House. The memoir came out 2 days ago, April 19th, actually. I'm looking forward to this. Rush grew up in Mississippi in a Mississippi housing project. He became a master sergeant. He's a celebrity chef who served under 4 U.S. presidents, starting with Clinton, then Bush, then Obama, and then Trump before getting out. He became an overnight sensation in 2018 after a photograph of his now famous 24-inch biceps the byproduct of 2,222 push-ups daily.
Well, excuse me.
Went viral.
How many was that again?
2,222 daily. That being said, though, the photographs of his biceps, the push-up doesn't help the bicep. The push-up helps the tricep. Nah.
You gonna tell him that?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I will call him Chef, though. The memoir is called Call Me Chef, damn it.
You better.
I will call him Chef. So I'm looking forward to that. Coming up in just a little bit, provided he's not running long with the previous interview. Hey, while we have a minute before then, got to remind you about the folks over at Complete Collision Center. They've got two locations. One is on Perkins, just east of Bluebonnet. The other's on Plank Road in Zachary. 768-9898 is the phone number. 768-9898. CompleteCollision.com is the website. What are you going to learn at a body shop's website? You're going to learn all about the iCar Gold Class certification. Puts them in the top 15% of body shops nationwide. It means when it comes to your family's safety, they're the best of the best of the best. When it comes to getting you back on the road safely, knowing the difference between repair and replace, knowing how to find hidden damage, knowing how your car is built, because, well, the manufacturer certified them as well. CompleteCollision.com, CompleteCollision.com. Don't let who you choose to repair your vehicle be your second accident. Check out CompleteCollision.com. Also, Complete Collision Center, proud sponsors of the Dreams Come True Radiothon. So, looking forward to this. Chef Andre Rush. We've got a lot that we haven't covered yet today. In our next segment, we're going to be talking a little bit about the possibility of bringing passenger rail between New Orleans and Baton Rouge. And you're going to find very quickly, Chuck, I don't know if you know my take on this one yet, but I am the biggest curmudgeon on this thing.
You're not down with the monorail?
No. Governor John Bell Edwards joined DOT Secretary Sean Wilson along with officials from Amtrak, Kansas City, Southern, and Canadian Pacific yesterday to discuss new opportunities and renewed support for our rail service between Baton Rouge and New Orleans. We've got some video of the governor from that press conference. We're going to be having that. We'll have that for you in our next segment. This is one that has been long talked about in Baton Rouge and just doesn't ever seem to get where it needs to go. And it's one that I believe when you look at the needs in Baton Rouge, it's a definite want. When you look at what we need here, it is more of a luxury than a necessity. All right, we are joined right now by former White House chef and decorated combat veteran, Chef Andre Rush is on the hotline. Chef, good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm doing excellent. What about yourself, sir?
Doing very, very well. Been looking forward to this conversation since I first saw it come across. The memoir is called Call Me Chef, Damn It. What went into the title there?
Because I want you to call me chef, damn it. No, honestly, it was a metaphor. So when I was unlike a chef, when I did join in culinary and the cooking world, everybody was being called chef except for me. I had a lot of trials and tribulations. And when I became a chef, they still wouldn't like to call me chef. And one day, while in the midst of a very busy dinner, something happened where I was doing all the work and wasn't being pronounced that way. And then I just went over to the head guy and I said to him very nicely, call me chef, damn it. And he did, and he never stopped.
But as is the title, right? You're the White House chef, for crying out loud.
Hey, yes, it's true.
So you served under 4 different presidents as White House chef. I need some dirt here. I need to know a little bit about the behind the scenes. Who has the secret cravings that we need to know about?
You know what? All of them has a craving. I don't know if it's a secret or not. Some of it could just be something very simple as some M&Ms, other as some cake, or tiramisu, and others may just be a cheeseburger or 2 or 3.
Oh. Are we going to reveal who's the 2 or the 3 there?
Well, I won't say anything else. You can Google that one.
Well, we can leave that up to our own imaginations for sure. I think we're kind of all on the same page here. All right, let's talk about the little bit of the difference between the way things are handled. You served under 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans. Behind the scenes, do all the politics go away? Behind the scenes, how are things man to man when it's before or after the big events? When it's the day-to-day things?
So that's a great question. About politics, I see no politics. I'm about no politics. It's just like me being in the service. I work for leaders. That's my job. I protect people. I do the things I'm supposed to do, and it can't flow over. You have no, whatever your personal thoughts are, your personal thoughts, or whatever you vote or whoever you vote, you're still going to do your job and do it diligently and to the best, because that's you as that principle on that part of it. And nothing runs over with them as well to us. And that's just the way it is. And now it goes higher up, with other people who voice their opinions, and it doesn't go well because it can be that way. Now, I will say when administration comes and goes, it is wiped out completely. There's no sounds or reasons to talk about past. It's only present and future.
And the way they handle their personal business. I mean, can you give us a quick story that sticks out in your mind? Maybe revolving around the late night snacking type of thing?
So I'm not there late at night. So people don't understand that, one of the things is that the president and the first ladies, the families, they actually pay for their own meals, right? They have to actually, if it's not official, they actually pay for it. So, and it can be very expensive. So think about staying in a Michelin 5-star hotel and you want to get some water that costs, $25. So you put in that perspective, you got the money for it, that's fine. But the good thing is just have a bunch of stuff and put it in your kitchen and your refrigerator and then use that as snacking.
He is Chef Andre Rush, the author of Call Me Chef, Damn It. Andre, I gotta ask you, you're coming from Mississippi. What part of Mississippi are you originally from?
Columbus, Mississippi.
Okay, and all the way to the White House from there. That journey went through the military as well, and from that, you have a passion for helping out with PTSD. How have you gone about helping and serving in that regard?
So I myself have PTSD, and it was something that I had to deal with from 9/11. I do a small part by doing 2,222 push-ups a day, every day except for Saturday and Sunday, and that's for the 22 vets that commit suicide a day. But I also caveat it with the kids, social bullying, anti-bullying, bullying all together, with sexual trafficking, anything else that has a reason behind it, which I've done a lot of campaigns for. So my whole thing is about mental health, mental wellness. People understand that suicide is the second cause of death in the U.S. from ages 10 to 34, and number 10 on the charts for the U.S. right now. So it's a huge thing, not only for veterans, but communities, especially now, this day and age, after the last pandemics and racial divide and so many other different things, from the capital to Russia to Ukraine. I can go on and on.
Coming from the South, coming from Mississippi, and talking about PTSD, there is a very much a reality to the term comfort food. Was this intentional for one to serve the other?
Yes, it's intentional. Mississippi is a hospitality state, and that's all I knew growing up with my mom, working on a farm and being raised to different things, and that's all that I wanted to feel. And so I was an unlikely chef, unlikely cook, and I just was drawn to it, even though I had so many other opportunities to do different things from my scholarships. It was something I wanted to find out and something I wanted to do, and I didn't know how it was going to turn out, but I took that chance, and here I am.
The memoir is called Call Me Chef, Damn It. Oh, by the way, for those scoring at home, Columbus, Mississippi, not too far away from Stark Vegas. I mean, you're on in Baton Rouge right now, so we got to look at a little SEC reference right there. Chef Andre Rush, I know you got to get on to the next interview. What is the one thing that people can expect from this memoir that they might not be expecting to begin with?
Transparency. I'm very open about everything, from toxic leadership to successes to failures to racial division to deaths and crying to it's not your likely memoir, as I keep hearing.
I'm looking forward to taking it on. I'm looking forward to reading it. It sounds fascinating. Oh, last one, and I promise this is the last one. How long does 2,222 push-ups take?
It takes me between an hour and a half to 2 hours if I'm lazy.
One set?
Yes, one set. I do 125 each,
Okay.
and that comes out, and I take a quick break, and then that comes out to 17.75, which is also
my goodness. Incredible. Chef Rush, I appreciate the time this morning. Thank you for hopping on board.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I hate when they run long before they get on. It cuts the whole thing short. Anyway.
It happens.
I ran long with them as well. Columbus, Mississippi, by the way. I had to look it up. I didn't know where Columbus, Mississippi was. Just east of Starkville. Oh, by the way.
Okay.
All right, we got Your Money Now coming your way right now. The memoir's called Call Me Chef, Damn It. I think I called him Chef pretty much the whole time. If you got to look at those guns, you would too. Here comes Your Money Now. Did I send you the video?
Yeah.
Okay. And I think I have the times written down from 46 seconds into 2:36. I was talking to Jordan the whole time through. What did Jay need?
Apparently, when we all had our meeting, we mentioned something about him coming in on Thursdays for 840. I don't remember that.
I do. Shit.
But he had to be here for a meeting at 9 anyway. So.
Okay.
So you want to start it at 46? Or you want to play it up to 46?
Started at 46, and it's going to run all the way to 2:30.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't realize we were starting that already. I'm going to feel bad about that for a while. Shit.
What?
I didn't realize we had started. I thought we were talking about, like, when we made... I thought that wasn't going to kick in until we made all the changes.
Yeah, I'll let him know that. That's fine. Like I said, he had to be here for an executive meeting at 9, so it's not like it was an inconvenience or anything.
All right. And you know, like, it goes on the big screen, and then the audio rolls back on YouTube as well.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, stomach.
Let's see. Oh, I had to hop off of the YouTube for a minute. Nyquilla says, set up a carpool at random. This is a beautiful steak made by a wonderful chef. Not as good as my chef, but a wonderful chef. Could I get some cat soup? When you can type a Trump impression, you're doing good.
That's good.
Wasn't there some kind of drama about the sip-in, or am I thinking? I don't remember.
I mean, I would think you got 3 openly gay men trying to be doing a bar.
You've tracked the day after Garth. So we're not doing the track meet on May 1st. I think Gordy will be out there because G is a freak show of an athlete.
Yeah, he is.
His son is.
Dude's a beast.
Okay. He is enjoyable to. You wouldn't think you'd like watching somebody run. He's effortless.
Yeah.
It's like my daughter's got this like little scooter step. She needs to work with somebody on her stride.
Yeah.
Gayla says, no, Brian, I'm the biggest curmudgeon of the train between Baton Rouge and NOLA. And now for Sorrento, LOL. Oh, I got to look up your buddy Christina's tweet. Oh, by the way.
What up, T?
What up? You come hang out tomorrow as well?
That's a gray shirt.
It is.
It's not a
gray shirt.
Yeah, but you only wear black shirts.
That's what I'm saying. I don't like Chuck's like Jimmy Neutron or something. You know, he opens his closet and he's like,
Yeah.
it's like 40 black shirts.
There is.
Which one?
Technically.
Johnny Cash thinks he needs to change things up.
You missed it last night. I had a black button-up collared shirt. And I had to go to a wine dinner, so I had to.
Did you have a coat?
Didn't have a coat. Coat's in the closet.
What do you guess? It's black.
I have a blue one as well.
Hey.
Like a dark
You need like
blue.
a bright colored coat to throw everybody off.
It's like a neon green.
Yeah. Like one of the Dumb and Dumber suits.
Yeah. Mess everybody up.
What?
I'm good to go for France.
Thank you. Excellent. I'll let him know today.
I won't say anything to anybody.
Please.
Yeah, I'm good to go.
It's smart. I know, that's what I told him. I was like, he treats there like he's either 100 or 5.
Or, yeah.
107.3 FM WBRP. One segment to go here on Mornings with Brian Haldane. So, how about a passenger train from Baton Rouge to New Orleans? It's a topic that's been talked about ad nauseum year after year after year. It'll help alleviate traffic. It'll be used to get people back and forth. Governor John Bell Edwards took a little test drive yesterday and talked about the possibility of a train connecting the capital city with the Big Easy.
For years, this passenger rail link has been something that people across Louisiana have been talking about. The desire has always been there. We just didn't have the means. Well, the Infrastructure Investment Jobs Act does provide those means now. And I want to thank the Biden administration for making it possible. I want to thank Congress, in particular with respect to our delegation. It was Senator Cassidy and Congressman Carter who voted for that bill, which is now a reality, and hopefully this rail link between Baton Rouge and New Orleans will become a reality as a result of it. The impending merger between Kansas City Southern Railroad and Canadian Pacific Railroad provides new opportunities and renewed support to introduce this passenger rail service between Louisiana's two biggest cities. The Canadian Pacific Railroad has expressed their support for the new service and pledged their cooperation with the effort. This is in addition to industrial opportunities that they have identified in their pursuit of KCS. And while we're standing here next to the Capitol and discussing inspection train between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, I want you to understand that our administration is looking at passenger rail across the state of Louisiana. The CP-KCS merger, if approved later this year, hopefully by the Surface Transportation Board, will bring renewed attention and additional opportunities for passenger rail service across North Louisiana as well, with an Amtrak long-distance train that would connect Dallas to Atlanta and then on to Washington, D.C. and New York. Obviously, this would cross Louisiana along the I-20 corridor and would be extremely important for our state as well, and that's very important to us.
Okay. I've got 1 minute to unpack this. We have to talk about need versus want here. We're talking about finding dollars from different places, whether it be the infrastructure bill from last year, whether it be future funds coming up. Nobody's going to talk about maintenance of this thing, of the railway or the actual rails itself or the trains. Nobody's going to talk about the ongoing costs that are going to be associated with this. And once we're in it, we're in it. There is no metric that lets us know exactly how many people are going to ride this thing on a daily basis. We get rough numbers, we get rough estimates, but once we're in it, we're in it. We are fighting tooth and nail. I'm shouting ad nauseum. I'm shouting ridiculously. I'm sounding like a crazy person every day because of the governor's plan to put $500 million away to build a new Mississippi River bridge. I'm 1,000% in his corner for this. It's a smart move. It's a right move. It's a good investment. This, I don't know that we can all, if you'll pardon the pun, get on board. This is going to... Oh, I'm just straight up out of time. We're going to have to talk about this at a later date. Fox News Rundown's next. Guys, y'all, it's a want, not a need. And you have to factor in a number of different things, okay? Number one, how many people are going to use it daily? How many people traverse I-10 every single day from New Orleans to Baton Rouge and back? And are willing to take time out of their day to, instead of just driving the 1 hour that it takes to get from here to there, driving to a train station, waiting to get on board a train, landing on the other end or arriving at the other end, then finding a way to get from where you are to where you're going. Because the train will go to a train station. The train will not go to 929 Government Street. You're talking about added cost on your daily commute because of that. Yes, the ticket's probably going to be not cheaper than gas, but cheaper than gas and parking combined. But getting everywhere you're going throughout the city, we do not have the kind of infrastructure that allows for this to be convenient for New Orleanians to get here, park, and walk, get here, park, and take a CATS bus. You're never going to be able to stay on a business schedule if you do it this way. And what's more than that is a lot of this is going to be based off of a long-term commitment. A long-term commitment based off of flight of fancy poll numbers. And we are not in a position and never will be in a position with a $14 billion backlog at DOTD for infrastructure projects. We are never going to be in a position where we can Field of Dreams this thing and say, if you build it, they will come. I would absolutely love to be in that position. But we're just not. And no matter how much of these dollars are federal dollars, no matter how much of this is quote-unquote free money, it's a long-term play. It's a long-term investment. And you heard him talk about other stops. You heard him talk about a second train already up the I-20 corridor that would go from Shreveport to Fun Row and then on to Atlanta and D.C. Right from jump, you're taking what should be a very simple idea that's going to be contested enough, and you're going to broaden it out to something so huge it's going to implode under its own weight. I don't know why I saved this rant to be off the air. This is something that I should probably come back to tomorrow. Holy monkey, it's not a bad idea, though. That's the problem. It's not a bad idea. It's just when you've seen government work the way that government works, you know the execution's going to be piss poor. And you know damn well we're going to be on the hook for the bill at the end of it. Remember 10 years ago when a lot of folks went to the polls and voted to increase their property millage to pay for more cats? Yeah, how many people are looking back on that vote right now saying, wow, look at all the problems that are there. Wow, how do I get my money back? You don't get your money back once you're in it. And if we get in this, even with free money, it's going to be our money next. I don't know that we have comps that we can look to in order to do this the right way. Show me another two metropolitan area, and this is the thing, though. As much as I love a lot of what Sean Wilson is doing at the DOTD and the governor's plans to redirect money as down payments for infrastructure projects, and I love the work that the Baton Rouge Area Chamber does on a daily basis. We have them on every Tuesday. They're on board with it. Oh, there's the pun again. They're on board with this program as well. As much as I love all that, I find myself being the odd man out, the curmudgeon, the naysayer. But BRAC is not unfamiliar with going to other municipalities and finding good ideas and bringing them home. Can you find me the comp? Can you find me the comp within the Gulf South, within the Southeast at all, where you have two cities that are about an hour apart that have same infrastructure issues and business mindsets that we do? Can you find me a comp to show me where it's worked elsewhere? And I cannot look up the Eastern Seaboard because your population is so overwhelming. You can't talk about the SELA. You can't talk about anything between D.C., New York, or Philadelphia. You can't talk about anything in the tri-state area. Yeah, I went Doofenshmirtz. You can't talk about any of that because it's just not comparable. We're not the same people. We're not the same populace. Any Hoosers, that's going to do it for today. Haggai Davis going to be in for a cup of tech gumbo tomorrow. I'm not confirmed yet, but we may have a po' boy in the making tomorrow. Yeah, it'll be a good thing. And believe it or not, when Rocco is in, teased something that I don't have confirmed yet. When Rocco is in, the storytelling goes long. Rocco, the first time Rocco was on this show, Rocco Morrow from Rocco's Po' Boys, first time he was on this show, that dude spent 45 minutes making a roast beef po' boy because he was telling stories the whole time. You heard stories about loan sharks and colonoscopies while making a roast beef po' boy. It was riveting. It was enthralling. Maybe if we don't have Rocco tomorrow, we'll have him next Friday. Got a couple of other surprises in store for tomorrow as well. Y'all have yourselves a great day. We will see you then.